Seasonal day Friday, highs low 60s with a mix of sun and clouds. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 Stephanie Mead for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
Oh, yeah. My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Joe Biden's out in the Rose Garden popping those champagne corks. The U.S. economy at a slight jump last quarter. Great news for the Democrats ahead of the midterms. Third quarter GDP rising 2.6%. Hammer.
So this comes after the nation's GDP had shrunk the first half of this year. So yes, this is reason to celebrate if you're Joe Biden, but should you pump the brakes a little bit on the confetti? It's okay to be happy, but should you be crapping snowballs? That's the question.
Well, I mean, these numbers are just estimates, by the way. They'll eventually be revised, and I'm not saying they're going to be worse or better. I'm just telling you, you're probably going to see another party in the Rose Garden from the Democrats telling you the economy is all fixed, we're all fine, and when I'd say they're really doing is trying to massage these estimates for all their worth ahead of the midterms, which I really don't think it's going to make a difference because people are still feeling the effects of inflation in their pocketbooks. This doesn't, I don't think people look at this, the average Joe Six-Pack, and say, oh, all right, everything's fine.
We're good now.
All right, vote Democrat.
I'm going to go and buy a Tesla. Hell, look at this report. So this is the headline from the New York Times. Okay, this is not Fox News. This is not Newsmax. This is the very liberal New York Times. Quote, the U.S. economy grew 0.6% in the third quarter, a 2.6 annual rate, a rebound, but not enough to ease worries about a recession.
Yeah, I mean, something similar in USA Today. They're not very optimistic. Quote, the performance likely marked a reprieve ahead of next year's projected recession rather than a sign of a brighter outlook. Hey, I hope that's not the case. I don't want to see a recession. Some people think we already are in a recession.
Technically, yeah. We are, if you go by every other year's definition, but the Biden administration changed the definition. They went full Rowdy Roddy Piper. Mondo, I feel like you can appreciate this. When you think you have the answers, I changed the rules. That was what Rowdy Roddy Piper used to say. When you think you know the definition of a recession, we changed the rules. It's the Biden administration. Here is an economist. It's a former Obama guy, Austin Goolsbee. He jumped on CNBC earlier today.
But our overall point is still pretty bumpy. So I think people should buckle their seatbelts on this one.
Not a real ringing endorsement. And by the way, his last name Goolsbee, how very Halloween of him. Wasn't that Sammy Terry's like little sidekick, Goolsbee? Wasn't there an episode where Goolsbee,
I don't know.
And I believe it was played by the late, great Gary Lee, he tried to get in Ari Lyondike's race car, and Sammy Terry had to go over there, Goolsbee, what are you doing?
I don't remember.
See if you can find that in our system, Mondo. I promise you somewhere in there's Sammy Terry and Ari Lyondike's car. But here's a little bit more from CNBC. This is the chief economist, Dr. Lindsay Pigza.
So I don't think that we're seeing upward momentum in any of the components in the third quarter report. And in fact, also as pointed out, durable goods, when we strip out those other components and look at the core of business investment, is starting out the fourth quarter particularly weak. So I do think this was a welcomed reprieve relative to 6 months of negative growth at the start of the year, but this is hardly indicative of strength for the underlying economy.
Oh, you're not going to hear that from Joe Biden or any of the good time party boys in the West Wing.
No, not at all.
They're pouring champagne, they're high-fiving, they're grab-assing.
So, yeah, that's the report that came out today, and now we sit and wait for the rest of the year to unfold, and we try to forecast what happens for next year. For this next story, Mondo, I need some mood music. I think it's getting close, Nige.
What's that?
Trump versus DeSantis.
Oh, boy. Oh,
so,
no.
The DeSantis campaign not real happy with the orange man because Donald Trump's throwing this big rally in Florida on Sunday. He invited Marco Rubio. He's telling people to vote for Marco Rubio. But you know who was not invited? Ron DeSantis.
Wait, so he's throwing this rally from Rubio. and snubbing DeSantis. This is just a couple days before the midterm elections.
Right.
Wow.
A November 6th rally in Miami for Marco Rubio, and this email blast went out to all of Trump's followers. And this comes as a shock to the DeSantis camp because they had an event scheduled the same day.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this. It's beginning. Now, a couple days ago, this kind of flew under the radar. DeSantis threw his weight behind a Colorado Republican who once kind of discouraged the GOP from supporting Trump in 2024. Trump went on Truth Social and called it a, quote, big mistake.
Oh.
That kind of flew under the radar a couple of days ago. DeSantis throwing his weight behind somebody that Trump didn't like. And the reply from the social media, what is it, Truth Social?
Truth Social, yeah.
Quote, big mistake.
So we've been kind of waiting for this, right? Like there's been some murmuring, there's been some rumors that eventually Donald Trump is going to cut the legs out of Ron DeSantis. There's been a lot of anonymous sources who have said he's been ripping DeSantis behind closed doors. But now this is the first time that we've heard anything about the DeSantis campaign being ticked off at Donald Trump. So for those of you who thought this would be some sort of great partnership, right? Trump for president, DeSantis for vice, and then after that, it's going to be DeSantis' time. That ain't happening. That is not going to happen.
Well, they can't be on the same ticket anyway because they're both in Florida. But
no, but when we had Bill O'Reilly on, he said like, if you really wanted it to happen, DeSantis would move somewhere and make it happen.
He's still going to win. He's got an election coming up, which I think in part is probably kind of irking DeSantis that 2 days before the big gubernatorial election in Florida, he's throwing a rally for Rubio. Trump is.
I'm going to play you a video here. This is a video that's going viral. Again, as we're into the midterm season, we've been talking a lot about, political races and debates and things like that. But let's not forget what's happening in our schools across this country. There's a lot of lunatics that are teaching your kids. Here's another example. This is a video that's going viral. It's a teacher in northern part of Virginia. Remember when they had all that stuff going on with the school board and the county there?
Yeah, and they were covering up some assaults and stuff like that from a trans student. Yeah.
Right. So this is kind of the same area here. This is a teacher that wants to come out as trans to his elementary students, but is not quite sure how to do it. So he's asking TikTok for help.
Hey, TikTok, I need your help with something. And it's really important to me, and it's going to be a big deal. I'm coming out at work as trans to everyone, including all my students, who I've known some of them for a couple of years now. But I'm going to be honest, I don't know how I'm going to address their question. I'm not good at this stuff. I'm going to ask them to start calling me Miss Ella and to use the proper pronouns. But knowing kids, especially elementary school age kids, they're going to ask questions. So if you have any resources on it or anything, please let me know.
For the love of God, just teach my kids math.
Stop. Would you stop coming out to my elementary school age students, please?
Please.
Is that too much to ask?
Just teach them English. Teach them math. Stop coming out and looking for support from your elementary school students. What is wrong with you people? Sweet mother of God. All right, we have an update here, Nige.
Okay.
So we played the soundbite earlier from the former Obama economist, Austin Goolsbee, which got us thinking about Sammy Terry and his sidekick, Goolsbee. And I referenced a great moment in Sammy Terry history where Goolsbee tried to get in Ari Leyendijk's car.
Goolsbee, what are you doing? Get out of that car. No, Goolsbee, you can't drive that. Ari Leyendijk is going to drive that car in the 500-mile range.
And this is like a young Ari Leyendijk. So he's standing there, and he has no idea what's going on. There's a dude dressed up like Sammy Terry. There's a sidekick named Goolsbee. They're screwing with his race car.
Obama's economist, his former economist's last name,
Goolsbee. What are you doing? So good. All right, Matt Bear, what's going on?
Looking at southbound 65, that's stop-and-go traffic into downtown from 21st Street. And on State Road 37, that's a crash between Stones Crossing and Olive Branch. Left lane blocked in both the directions. Traffic sponsored by Compassion International. Drought warn rising food prices have devastated families in poverty. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Like the confused look on Ari Leyendijk's face, just so good.
I can't believe you found that
55
on the fly. That was great.
At the American Standard Heating Weather Center. A night with WIBC tonight, Nige. We're going to be there. And listen, we want Hammer and Nigel Nation to be loud tonight. You guys are the best listeners, the most loyal listeners, the most passionate listeners in all of radio. When we go to Shelbyville, when we go to Columbus for events, you guys come 200, 300 deep. So let's make some noise tonight. Let's have a damn good time. Let's get after it. If you're going to the show tonight, I think doors open at 6. That's when like the meet and greet for the VIP tickets begin.
Doors open at 6.
Okay.
General admission opens at 7.
Okay. And the show starts at 7:30. All right. So, man, let's have a good time tonight. Be loud, be enthusiastic. Let's blow the roof off that joint tonight. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Everyone knows that soaking in Epsom salts can make you feel better. Now imagine soaking in Epsom salts in a Royal Spa hot tub.
Ah, Royal Spa.
I need to turn off these news alerts. Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
Oh, I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider, Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Rock Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Paid for by Cindy for Indy.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As Sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
Is it yay or nay for snow this winter? You might want to hold your horses, but not those horses. Yes, the Colts. Tonight, I'll take a look at weather data from the past decade to forecast how much snow we'll get and how that ties in with the Colts' performance. Tonight at 11.
Everybody's talking about So Help Me Todd.
Must be nice to be perfect.
It's exhausting.
A new So Help Me Todd, tonight after Goes, on CBS.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but you hate the paint? Well, do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall, well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
When the weather turns severe, turn to the WIBC Storm Desk, presented by Technology Recyclers, certified electronics recycling. Visit tech-recyclers.com.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Danville.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Oh, man, I saw this. I thought it was kind of interesting. You remember the, you know what the Ford Fiesta is, right? They called them a super mini.
Right.
A really tiny, small car. Been around, I think, since the mid-'70s. And very affordable, very efficient in terms of gasoline. They are going away after nearly 47 years. It's going to be replaced by electric vehicles.
Oh, one of my favorite memes is that picture of Harrison Ford shaking up a cocktail like Tom Cruise, and it just says Ford Fiesta.
I've not seen that one. A little too small for me. The small cars scare me. Like the British automotive group, just Mini. You seen those Minis running around? I'd like as much metal in between me and the other car as possible. So I'm willing to.
You want there to be as much shrapnel as possible when you get into an accident.
Right. So here is our tribute, the Hammer and Nigel tribute, saying adios to the Fiesta.
Bye, bye, no more Ford Fiesta.
Oh, no.
Ford is building electric cars so they can compete with Tesla.
There you go.
That's pretty much what it comes down to now. Mondo, we are just a couple of days away. It's time for Halloween stuff. Pumpkins, candy, costumes, Halloween stuff.
Goolsby.
What are you doing? By the way, I put that video out on our Twitter at Hammer and Nigel.
I'm watching it right.
If you want to see Goolsby trying to get into Ari Leyendijk's car. Dateline, Texas. A pizza place in Texas is catching some hell because of a Halloween decoration that shows Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite pizza.
Oh!
It's got fake eyeballs and severed fingers and an ear on it. It's a Halloween prop. It's a Halloween decoration. You offended by this, Nige?
I would probably, that'd gross me out, I think. Now, this isn't an actual...
It's not an actual finger, no.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it's not like some sort of edible-looking eyeball or something like that they put on a real pizza. This is just a prop that's in the store.
Right,
okay.
Right. So, like, if you have an inflatable skeleton in your yard, you know, it's not a real skeleton. This is like a fake thing they put on a pizza to showcase.
Oh, good Lord. It says the Jeffrey Dahmer special. That is disgusting. I don't know. Probably if you're one of the victims' families and you walk into this store and see that, you're turning around and walking back out. I don't think anybody should be canceled for it.
It's a Halloween decoration. I mean, Come on.
Oh, man, this thing's making me gag. Just look at it. Ooh.
Hot take. I don't think people are supposed to order that. So it's designed
Take the
for
Dahmer
that.
special, please.
I'll take the Dahmer special, please. Now, from the people who bring you Halloween stuff, I'm going to switch gears a little bit on you. I'm going to give you a little misdirection. Kyle, mood music.
What are you doing?
We've got an announcement. TNT and TBS have announced that, along with The Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation and Elf will have 24-hour TV marathons coming up.
Nice. I thought they already did that, but okay.
TBS is going to air Elf for 24 hours straight the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Oh.
And National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation will air on TNT for 24 hours beginning the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
That's the perfect days to watch those movies, I think. The Thanksgiving holiday is over, full swing into Christmas. I love it. Yeah, I love having that stuff on in the background. And I'm looking forward to A Christmas Story. I think it was on HBO Max. They got the sequel or the updated version with, a 45-year-old Ralphie.
Oh, that comes out here in a couple weeks, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And then, of course, they do the 24 hours of A Christmas Story, Christmas Eve into Christmas Day, to which Chris Hammer's in studio. You can back me up here. Your mother tries to make us watch all 24 hours of that damn thing. The network said they will begin airing their array of holiday movies beginning next weekend. This includes Christmas Vacation, Elf, Polar Express, Grinch, Fred Claus, a bunch more.
Those are all good ones.
But it's next weekend too soon. First weekend of November for Christmas movies.
Oh, please. I mean, they started selling Christmas trees in July. I think you could show Elf in November, at the beginning of November.
Hit us up on social media. Is the first weekend of November a time when you start getting into the Christmas spirit? Are you ready to watch Christmas movies that first weekend after Thanksgiving? At Hammer and Nigel.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most Root Metrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shibley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shibley for state representative.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Car thefts across the Midwest. 54 degrees, sunny in downtown Indy. Some clouds move in later, lows into the upper 30s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:30. Dodge Chargers were the main target in a car theft ring that spanned Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. Police in Kokomo say electronic evidence helped them in getting charges filed against a man who was arrested in Toledo, Ohio.
By working together with the other agencies, we were able to identify at least one of the suspects in this case and get criminal charges filed.
Captain Scott Purdy with Kokomo Police says U.S. Marshals arrested Devin Barr last week on a warrant from Howard County. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said rumors of a dirty bomb being used in the war between Russia and Ukraine aren't true.
We have not seen anything to indicate that Putin has made a decision to use a dirty bomb.
Speaking to reporters Thursday, Austin says there's no indication Ukraine is planning to use nuclear weapons either. Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed. He says there's no need to use nuclear weapons in his country's war with Ukraine. He made the remarks in a meeting in Moscow. Putin said Ukrainian resistance, though, has proven Russia was right to invade the country. 4 men were trafficking drugs from California to Indiana. Parker Carlson reports the last man involved in the operation has been sentenced.
The plan was to deliver a heroin-fentanyl mix of drugs to deal on the streets of Indianapolis. Once they got the profits, 3 men would go back to a Mexican supply in San Bernardino. However, a simple traffic violation led to police pulling them over in Missouri and ended with them arrested. The investigation pointed officers to the dealer in Indy, Charles Kirby, who on Thursday was the last one in that operation sentenced to federal prison. He'll spend the next 10 years behind bars. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you have any prescription drugs you're considering getting rid of, state police are urging you to listen to this plea.
We just don't want them ending up in our drinking water or in the hands of people that should not have them.
Captain Ron Gallivis, flushing those drugs down the toilet or throwing them in the trash can cause public health and safety hazards. He's urging you take those drugs to any one of 14 state police posts across Indiana during Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday from 10 until 2. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:32.
If you think about the real priorities in your life, the stuff that really matters, it's your family. And the most important thing you can do for them is to ensure that when you do pass away, your estate goes to the people that you love, not the government. Because if you don't have a legacy plan in Indiana, everything you own, including your house, bank accounts, investments, everything, could be tied up in probate court for years. It could cost your estate a fortune in legal fees, and it could even get double taxed by the government. Learn how you could avoid this with a free legacy planning analysis from Bill Demery by calling 317-805-4716. Leave a legacy, not a mess. Call 317-805-4716. 317-805-4716.
With traffic at 3:33, here's Matt Baer.
Crash State Road 37 on the south side between Stones Crossing and Olive Branch. Left lane blocked in both directions. Watch out for delays in that construction zone. And then inbound 65 stop and go 21st Street to the north split. Eastbound 465 jams from Westfield Boulevard over to the White River. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now get a $2,000 energy savings credit plus sale prices on energy efficient B Window sidings and doors. No payment or interest for up to 24 months. That's Faber's B Window. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies and chilly temperatures are ahead for our Thursday night with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Friday, fantastic end of work week with lots of sunshine, highs in the low to mid 60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
And we're back. The Hammer and Nigel Show, 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there. We have a very special guest in the studio.
Senator Mike Braun joining us. Senator, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good to be back here again.
So what brings you to our neck of the woods here?
Well, we're into, 2 weeks before the midterms, and Schumer sent us home in late September. And for me, not in cycle, so I've been kind of traveling, finished the last of my 92 counties I visit in the combine.
That's right.
In Spencer County.
You were down the last time you were here. You were visiting all 92 counties.
Yeah, and then finished that off here just a couple weeks ago. And we've got a lot of critical races out there. I'm going to help in some of them. Just spent an hour and a half with Cindy Carrasco, a great candidate.
Yeah.
And man, if there's a race we need to win, that is one.
Talk about how important
here.
that race is here for people, residents in Marion County and victims of crime in Marion County, because it has skyrocketed here in the city, and the GOP running for prosecutor, Cindy Carrasco, against Mears.
Well, I can relate to it mostly by the fact that I would get here occasionally before I became a state legislator in 2015. And that is just when I started to see kind of downtown turn in a different direction. Otherwise, it would have been visiting, which was a wonderful place, family and everybody to come here. And 15, 16, and 17, you could see the difference between here and going back to the Capitol. I was here probably 3 months ago for the first time in a while in the middle of the day and sidestepping, folks between Monument Circle and the Capitol. And then look at the summer of 2020 that gets dismissed across the country, and it's reached a level where who knows who's going to renew a lease down here. Do families feel safe coming downtown? And that race, when you got a guy like Mears that seems to be missing in action at the job, you'd think would be hard to win, but I think she is neck and neck. The resources are a good indicator.
She got a lot of money last month, a lot of fundraising.
And I think that's because people are making that calculation.
And it's not just all Republicans, too, that are putting money in. Because, listen, Democrats here on Monument Circle, they don't want their windows broken out.
Nobody does. Nobody wants that kind of city when you know what it was like. And that kind of thing, I think, is happening across the country. We've got it right here. You got an even larger race that I think is interesting. Jennifer Ruth Green. I'm going to end up there late in the week stumping for her.
Yeah.
Kind of candidate we need, any party needs. That's got a military background, a great record. That thing is in play.
And what's happened to her over the last couple of weeks with this ridiculous act from Politico and what her opponent has denied doing, but let's be honest, his fingerprints are all over this thing, outing her as a victim of sexual assault when she clearly did not want this to happen. Look, I get, politics is competitive, but there's a line, and that was gross.
It was gross, and of course I experienced that when I was, after I won the primary, the wrath of Chuck Schumer and George Soros descended upon this race and the Missouri race. Those were the two races back in 2018 that if we didn't get them, it was going to be a bad night for Republicans. And of course, never ahead in a public opinion poll, you win by 6 points. They spend $20-30 million on negative advertising, stuff they make up. Hell, I grew up in Mayberry RFD. You had to make it up, but it still happens. And like what happened to her in that district means it's getting close because you're going to have to contend with it. If you don't have thick skin getting into this business, you're going to develop it quickly, and that's just another example of it. But here in Marion County, in our state capital, things need to turn around, and I've been able to see it. Like I say, when I started noticing it back 7-8 years ago, it's gotten to the point where this is what needs to turn. And then some of the other offices, the people that have been running the business of Indianapolis, those need to be in play as well for the same reason.
Why should somebody who doesn't live in Marion County care about what happens in Marion County?
Well, because it's a centerpiece of our state. Indianapolis is our state capital. And it was a place that I think through investment, through prior administrations, it had reached a point where families felt safe here. People came here as a destination. And I think that hit its low point in recent times here back in 2020. And we got to figure out how to get away from it, start doing the job that a prosecutor needs to do to build up confidence that it's a place that people want to visit again and invest in.
Can the state do well financially if Indianapolis starts to regress?
I think that begs an interesting question because you're just here a couple blocks away, And I don't think you can be kind of detached from the situation. And I think you probably got to start looking, if it's not getting done by the folks that are in charge of it, the prosecutor's office, the mayor's office, you need to at least raise the issue to see what that interplay would be.
Let me expand on Hammer's question there a little bit, because I think here in Indiana, I think Todd Young has his race locked up. But why should people in Indiana be paying attention to some of these other highly contested races for Senate? Pennsylvania, it's Fetterman and Oz. Georgia with Warnock and Herschel Walker. I mean, those are important races that we as Hoosiers should be paying close attention to as well.
There's no doubt about it, whether it's city government in your state capital and the juxtaposition to state government when you're wondering who's going to take care of a problem. Yeah. It's no different. I mean, I've been employed by the federal government, and watching that up close like I do and have done for 4 years, coming from a background of being a Main Street entrepreneur where you don't have any of the latitude of not making ends meet. You got to do things that work better, and that impacts us here. I don't think it'll ever swamp us. I don't think it'll ever be the overwhelming factor, but it's an aggravating factor. And if you don't get that in line, you're going to have to contend with more of what you've all witnessed and talked about and what I've been deeply involved with the last 4 years. So yes, there are 10 to 12 Senate races that are so close. And if we as Republicans, I think last time I was on, can't make that case, can't articulate it with the platter of opportunity from the border to crime in our cities, which we talked about, borrowing from our kids and grandkids for your latest and greatest idea at the federal level when we knock nothing out of the park to begin with, it does sooner or later impact even places like Indiana that are run well.
Did you get a chance to watch the debate, or highlights, I guess, of Fetterman against Oz? Because I watched the whole thing. I sat home and streamed the whole thing, and I'm on a text thread with Nigel and our bosses, and I told them, Fetterman is not well. This is a guy that they told us he was fine. His doctor cleared him. His doctor also donates to his campaign, but that's different. But they cleared him, and he's clearly not well. Does it make me a bad guy, Senator, because I don't think he's up for the job? I don't think he's physically capable of doing the job. But when I say that out loud, I've got people calling me an ableist or some sort of ist.
I just saw that term the other day, and it's funny how terms like that come up whenever you're just kind of giving a different point of view.
Yeah.
But let's put it this way. We are the board of directors of the biggest business in the world, the U.S. Senate. There are 100 of us, and everyone's going to bring a little different background into it. But if you are going to really do what the citizens that are going to elect you want you to do, you got to be a full faculty. You got to be fully engaged. And let's put that aside. Let's look at the fact that his policies are a mirror of those of Bernie Sanders.
Right.
I'm on the budget committee, which has kind of turned into the most useless appendage in the U.S. Senate. It should be the most important thing, but we don't do that anymore. We've kind of got the political enterprisers running the show out there where you don't look at what might need more funding or less. Any business doesn't necessarily spend more.
How often do you roll your eyes on that committee? When they come out there with some plan of some ridiculous thing, like how long does it take you to just kind of roll your eyes, exhale, and...
Well, Bernie has had more budget meetings than we had the first 2 years I was there, but it has not been on the subject of any of the mechanics of a budget. It's been on one woke topic after another. And even the issues that they identify as being important, I don't necessarily disagree with it. I just don't think you double down, borrow more and more money. 18 trillion in debt when I got there. We're now 31 trillion, and they're trying to sell us more of that. You can't, that is so simple to say that that isn't working. And look what they've done in just 2 years to take the best economy we had pre-COVID to turn it into this mess.
Is this
I do roll my eyes all the time.
Is this why people say that you can't change the swamp? Because everybody goes to Washington and they say, I'm going to change things, but they get there and they understand how swampy some of these monsters are, because you're outnumbered. The Senate goes to the tie break, and that doesn't go your way. You're outnumbered in the House. It's basically just party lines here.
And not only that, but Bernie Sanders, I swear to God, he used to be against illegal immigration. He's on record as saying, no, this is bad for the country. Bringing in illegal immigrants is lowering wages for American workers. And that, I think, just kind of adds to your point of if you're in the swamp, you're a lifer, and you're going to go with whichever way the wind blows.
And that one thing right there means that you're generally operating on a lack of principles guiding you, because there certainly should have been some principle in play then when he had that point of view, and now you flip-flop because politically they calculate otherwise. And when you get back to the other point, how long would it take? It would take, I'm a term limits guy. We need those more than ever. And that Democrats, independents, and Republicans believe in to the tune of about 85 to 90%. I'd even be for grandfathering the folks that need to hit the road sooner or later.
Right.
But to get the system going, we need a balanced budget amendment as well. Those aren't going to happen in the near term. The wheels are going to have to fall off. It's going to have to get worse, sadly, before it gets better there, until you get that kind of stuff accomplished.
Can you stick around for one more segment with us?
I can, yeah.
All right, because when we come back, I want to get back to some Indiana stuff here. I want to talk about some things you've heard when you went county to county. And there's also the $1 million question. What are you going to do the next time you're up for election? Do you want to continue? Do you want to run for governor? We're going to get to all of those things with Senator Mike Braun when we come back. Don't go anywhere. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Andre Carson is counting on you to re-elect him while he sits back and watches the mess he helped create. He's watching as groceries, gas, and housing costs skyrocket, as crime is spiking and kids are being killed, as our schools are failing both students and parents. And while we suffer, Andre Carson has done nothing but collect millions of your tax dollars. That's why he is rated one of the least effective members of Congress. When are we going to demand better than Andre Carson?
Andre Carson has failed. Have you had enough yet? I am Angela Grabowski, and as a successful businesswoman, I know what needs to be done to stop inflation and bring down prices. I'm a proud immigrant, and I'm dedicated to providing opportunities for all. And I will make it a top priority to clean up the violent crime that has infested our community. A vote for me is a vote for change. I'm Angela Grabowski, a candidate for Congress in Indiana's 7th Congressional District, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Angela Grabowski for Congress, Indiana 7.
There's only one you, and you only have one heart. That's why Franciscan Health is here with the highest level of heart care that's personal, compassionate, and sensitive to your needs. Known for embracing innovative technology and advancements in care, our nationally recognized heart team is committed to helping you protect the only heart you've got. To schedule your appointment with a heart care expert or to get a second opinion, visit franciscanhealth.org/heartcare.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. In the last year, we've seen our competition double, even triple their delivery charges. Thompson Furniture and Mattress still delivers for free within 75 miles of Columbus. White glove delivery and setup from the best team anywhere, and it's all for free. Whether it's your Lazy Boys, Smith Brothers, Tempur-Pedic, outdoor furniture, it doesn't matter. It's delivered free. Guaranteed best price plus free delivery only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVPs Pro Rewards Program. Terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. paid for by Cindy for Indy.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Learn how a Retire Shield plan from Crown Haven Wealth Advisors provides clear, straightforward retirement solutions that are custom tailored for you. This Sunday on WIBC from 9 to 10 a.m.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
Good Lord, what a mess coming back from Shelbyville. It is a crash westbound 74 between Acton and Post. Right now, the right lane is blocked. We have a vehicle in the ditch. Several other cars pulled off onto both shoulders, so a very tight way through in the left lane here at the moment. Traffic's about 1.75 miles long, moving about 6 miles per hour. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, get a $2,000 energy savings credit plus sale prices on energy-efficient B Window siding and doors. No payment or interest for up to 24 months. That's Favors B Window. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
55 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center here at 93 WIBC. Senator Mike Braun joining us in studio. So what is next for you? Do you want to run for re-election in the Senate? Do you want to be the governor of Indiana? I've heard both.
So when I decided, kind of out of frustration, looking at our state, which is run well, we believe in balanced budgets, rainy day funds, room for improvement. I think there's a lot of things we could do with that strength and make our state even better. We talked a little bit about here in our own state capital. When I decided to not run for a third term as a state legislator, that would have been running for re-election again in 18, I was not sure what I was going to do. A lot of times you go back to your business, like the founders did. They went back to the farm or their business, and that's the way it should be. The federal government needs term limits, and it needs the balanced budget amendment. And that's not going to happen. I'm going to still talk about it. So I got to calculate, is it worth spending 6 more years doing that? Or do you want to come back where you can have, I think, real impact? I'm most proud of the fact that I took a little business, and I don't even use the word CEO because I turned the lights on and off for nearly 20 years of those 37 years. So, and that's making a living. In most small businesses, that's where people are making a living, as well as maybe building it into something someday. So I am going to make that announcement publicly.
On the Hammer and Nigel show?
Well, I'll consider that. And I'm going to do it here sooner rather than later.
Really?
So, yep. And I'm calculating that in a way that with the tutorial of a school board for 10 years, that was the first thing I did. That call came from my wife, and she did the political pivot before I could maneuver. Well, maybe my husband would be interested. And we were in a rural township, not dealing with the critical race theory and masking kids, but even in places like where I come from, things can get out of kilter. Did that for 10 years. Got the call from our state representative then when he decided to run for Senate if I'd consider running for state legislature, and did. So for me, I still feel like I'm in my 40s or 50s. Not the case.
Yeah, look good.
What I'm going to do.
You're the most in-shape person in this room.
Well, thank
now,
you.
That's also
Is
like
that a
being the
compliment?
valedictorian of summer school, but congratulations to you.
We've got about 90 seconds left, Senator.
So I'm leaning in a direction where I can have more impact. And like I say, I'll make that decision public in here in about a month or so.
And your feeling on the midterms coming up here in a week? Do the GOP, obviously, the House is available for taking. What do you think about the Senate and the GOP?
I think we're going to win the House with some ease. And if that is with great ease, we're going to pick up 1, 2, or 3 Senate seats. And we win the House, we put a tourniquet on craziness. No more political enterprising by passing laws. If we get the Senate back, we'll get in the business of making sure a candidate for a cabinet position or the judiciary has to be approved by us. The big issue is, what do we do in 2024? And I'm one that believes we got to be for something. You can't tell the American public, I'll tell you after I'm elected. And that is where I disagree with current leadership. Maybe McCarthy is going to do that in the House, but independents elect the swing state senators and the president. And they're hugging us now, mostly. They're driving to fill their gas tank up every week or so. That's going to be a big indicator. So we are going to stop the craziness. We got to communicate to the American public between now and 2024 so that we get it back along with both chambers before we can change anything or undo it.
Senator Mike Braun, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Senator.
My pleasure.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
I need to turn off these news alerts. Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider, Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Roch Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
Sparkling diamonds, dazzling bracelets, earrings, and rings. Breathtaking rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. Welcome to Barrington Jewels. From timeless designs to impeccable craftsmanship, the enduring beauty of Barrington Jewels shines through every creation. At Barrington Jewels, find respect and honest pricing, superior service and accommodations. For birthdays, anniversaries, and just because. Find your treasure at Barrington Jewels, East 82nd in Indianapolis, and barringtonjewels.com.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Stop by McAllister Machinery in Fishers and Indianapolis to see their full line of Kubota, or visit them online at McAllisterKubota.com.
When joint pain is getting in the way of your life, Community Health Network Orthopedic Specialty Care can help. Community specialists offer comprehensive care for every type of orthopedic issue. And our convenient locations and simple scheduling options make it easier to get the relief you need. Learn more at ecommunity.com/ortho. Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As Sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a man who was stealing muscle cars was caught and arrested, and IMPD is investigating after a man was found dead downtown this morning. All that and more after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You were listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
Growth only goes so far on Wall Street. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The U.S. economy staging a rebound in the third quarter, a growth of 2.6% after shrinking for the first half of the year.
In a statement, President Biden says Republicans in Congress were rooting for a downturn, but today's report is evidence of a recovery powering forward. Republicans have blamed spending by Democrats for the record-setting inflation rates.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. There are warning signs in the fine print, though, what the Treasury Secretary calls signs of a healthy slowdown. Some economists still think a recession is likely. The Dow up 200 points at the closing bell, but the Nasdaq down more than 1%. Russia's president says efforts to crush his country's economy have failed and that the West is to blame for what's happening in Ukraine. He also denies making nuclear threats.
We've never said anything proactively about possible use of nuclear weapons by Russia.
At a forum in Moscow, President Putin says he's ready for talks to end the war, blaming Ukraine for not continuing negotiations. This as U.S. Defense Chief Lloyd Austin lays out the Pentagon's overall defense strategy.
Secretary Austin acknowledged threats posed by Russia and its continued aggression in Ukraine, as well as Iran and North Korea, in revealing how America's military will be readied for the future. Those nations are not, however, where he believes the biggest danger lies. That danger is the People's Republic of China.
The only competitor out there with both the intent to reshape the international order and increasingly the power to do so.
He cites China's efforts to break down U.S. ties in the Indo-Pacific. The strategy still puts Russia alongside China as two nuclear powers the U.S. must guard against.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Austin says they're also working on resilient satellites to protect the U.S. in space. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Stolen cars from multiple states. 54 degrees, sunny downtown. Cloudy tonight with a low of 39. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Thieves have been stealing high-performance Dodge Chargers in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, says Captain Scott Purdy with Kokomo Police. He tells Wish TV that Devin Barr was arrested last week in Toledo for the theft of 2 Chargers in Kokomo in March.
We were able to obtain an electronic device that we were able to determine was in Kokomo at the time of our thefts, which we were able to utilize and gain more evidence from it.
Barr is charged with auto theft. Purdy says he was part of a larger ring of thieves. IMPD says a man is dead after police found him downtown with trauma wounds. They were found just before 8 a.m. off East Washington Street. That's east of I-70 near the intersection at Southeastern Avenue. Police didn't say anything about a motive, possible suspect, or what kind of trauma the man suffered from. If you know anything, give police a call. If you have any prescription drugs you're considering getting rid of, state police are urging you to listen to this plea.
We just don't want them ending up in our drinking water or in the hands of people that should not have them.
Captain Ron Galaviz, flushing those drugs down the toilet or throwing them in the trash can cause public health and safety hazards. He's urging you to take those drugs to any one of 14 state police posts across Indiana during Drug Take-Back Day Saturday from 10 until 2. Andre Carson is the congressman representing Indianapolis, or the 7th District. His opponent, Republican Angela Grabowski, actually lives in Carmel, which is the 5th District. She tells Indy Politics that's all right.
My life is in the district. I spend 10 to 12 hours every day servicing the people of the district.
She says her businesses are in Indianapolis, and she's lived in the area for 33 years. She also says it's ludicrous to say that because she lives in Carmel, she doesn't understand the Circle City. Dry weather will stick around for the next few days, but then
we do have rain coming back into the forecast by this weekend for Sunday and then into Monday morning.
Cody Moore with the National Weather Service. He says the rain should be gone by Monday night, just in time for trick-or-treating. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
If you think about the real priorities in your life, the stuff that really matters, it's your family. And the most important thing you can do for them is to ensure that when you do pass away, your estate goes to the people that you love, not the government. Because if you don't have a legacy plan in Indiana, Everything you own, including your house, bank accounts, investments, everything could be tied up in probate court for years. It could cost your estate a fortune in legal fees, and it could even get double taxed by the government. Learn how you could avoid this with a free legacy planning analysis from Bill Demery by calling 317-805-4716. Leave a legacy, not a mess. Call 317-805-4716. 317-805-4716.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05. What's going on, Matt Baer?
Harrison, the intersection on the east side, 30th and Shadeland, is shut down because of the shooting investigation. Also, Shadeland Avenue is going to be closed not only at the intersection, but a couple blocks north of that, too, up to 34th Street. You need to stay clear. Westbound 74, crash here. That's an absolute mess coming back from Shelbyville. It's on the southeast side near Thompson Road between Acton and Post. And right now, the right lane is blocked. Crashes all over the place on both shoulders. One vehicle is in a ditch, and we're backed up about 2 miles. Traffic sponsored by Fisher Homes. The secret savings event from Fisher Homes is in full swing, and already savings homeowners up to $650 per month with below market interest rates. Visit FisherHomes.com today. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We're working another chilly night under partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will dip into the upper 30s to low 40s. Friday, expecting a nice day to end the work week with abundant sunshine. Highs a little warmer, getting into the low to mid 60s. Saturday is going to be an absolutely great day to get out the door for any Halloween plans or going to any Halloween festivities. Highs getting into the mid to upper 60s with lots of sunshine. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
Sunny, 56 degrees downtown. I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
Yeah, my name is Nigel. Hammer's here. Let's not waste any time. Can we get right into it, Mondo? Let's do it. Let's do some midterm stuff.
Polling. Debates. Fetterman.
The Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
Midterm stuff. Dateline New York. They've got a big midterm race for the governor taking place right now.
Yeah, Zeldin and the unelected incumbent Hochul.
So Kathy Hochul, she loves a good old-fashioned mask. She loves putting masks on kids. Mondo, do we have some mood music?
Return of the mask. Who are you?
Return of the mask.
She the flu. Return of the mask. We know just what to do.
Nigel, I'm old enough to remember when Joe Biden said the pandemic was over.
Oh, yeah, and then he shows up on TV, gets his, 10th COVID booster, and Walensky gets her 10th, and then she gets COVID 2 weeks later, and, I know. So wait a minute. So Kathy Hochul is talking about masks again?
Kathy Hochul wants New York parents to really consider putting masks back on their kids.
It's hard to keep kids safe. Think about the fact that a year ago, before a year ago, a lot of kids were wearing masks in a daycare center or in schools, and that did give them some level of protection. We're not mandating this, but we're saying parents, you got other kids, you got kids in school, preschool, and you got a baby at home. You really might just want to take these extra precautions. And by now, kids are more socialized to the idea of wearing a mask. It's not as strange to them. It's not as what is this all about? There's really cute masks out there. I've seen a lot of them. So that's something I'm encouraging all parents to consider for their children right now.
Except they don't work.
Right.
And kids don't need them. And kids aren't affected by COVID nearly as bad as, say, an elderly person with 5 comorbidities.
Those cute little masks that you got that were probably made in China with your favorite cartoon character or your favorite sports team on it, worthless.
I mean, you have to remember, Kathy Hochul is the one that said Jesus wanted you to get the vaccine.
That's right. I forgot about that. We're well past Jesus take the wheel. We're now into the phase of Jesus wants you to take the vaccine. Wow.
So doubling down on that, I was stunned. It's so funny. I remember desperately wanting the masks to come off my kids for school. I live in Zionsville, and it seemed like I didn't know back in the day. I didn't know that some of the donut counties further out, like Plainfield, for example, some of those schools, rural schools, never even wore the masks. Did you know that? Like, and so that when I learned that finally, I was like, this is ridiculous. Get them off. It is hindering their ability to learn. It is hindering their ability to communicate.
And if you want to make it optional, make it optional.
I'm not saying that, look, the Zionsville administration, they got the kids back to school in August. I thought they could have gone back earlier. They did in 2020, they were back, but they were heavily masked, and the social distancing guidelines were ridiculous. But I kind of slowly learned that a lot of these rural, smaller towns and schools didn't have any of the things that we were doing, and they were fine.
Of course they were. Of course they were. And look, if you are somebody that for your own mental well-being, you want to wear a mask, listen, we can disagree on the efficacy all you want, but if you really are somebody that wants to wear a mask, go ahead. Be my guest. You can wear 2 if you want, but don't make these things required. For the kids that want to go to school and have an everyday, real learning experience where it's not just educational, but it's social as well. The social aspect can't be ignored here. Just let them go.
The other thing that Kathy Hochul said during that debate with Zeldin in terms of a vaccine mandate for kids, the CDC recently added COVID-19 vaccines to their schedule of recommended vaccines, which doesn't necessarily mean that a school is going to put it on their vaccine requirement list. But she's quoted as saying, I'm not going to do that at this time.
There you go.
She added, I'm paraphrasing. Basically, what she said is, I would not implement them, ... at this time.
So let's move on to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Fetterman.
Eagles!
Now, we're not saying that the national media is trying to save Fetterman, but you've got butt sniffer Lawrence O'Donnell of MSNBC comparing Fetterman's effort in that debate to FDR in wartime.
Got knocked down. That needs to get back up.
While he was brilliantly winning World War II, Franklin Roosevelt once fell asleep in the Oval Office in the middle of signing his name to a letter. That was not painful to watch because no one got to see that.
And he goes on to compare Winston Churchill to Fetterman. How some great leaders, they're not always easy to watch, but they get the job done.
Churchill was a drunk.
And Nigel knows what he's talking about.
I know a drunk when I see it, but he was able to function. He was a functioning drunk, functioning much better than Fetterman.
Right. I'll take 3 sheets to the wind Winston Churchill every single day of the week. Which really just brings us to the point of how much of a hack Lawrence O'Donnell is. Here's great moments in Lawrence O'Donnell history. This was the election night when Donald Trump won.
America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion. And I mean literally crying.
America is crying tonight. Okay.
So what about the other half of America? What were they doing, Larry?
What about all the people that voted for Donald Trump to win? Last time I checked, that was the majority. That's how this thing kind of plays out, right? He had more electoral votes. He won more states. I don't know how many people were crying. Great moments in Lawrence O'Donnell history. We can't talk about this without this great behind-the-scenes moment.
Stop the hammering! Call Phil Griffin. I don't care who the you have to call. Stop the hammering. The woman talking in my ear was talking about the Labor Day special.
Great moments in Lawrence O'Donnell history.
Oh, man. I got to tell you, like, if you're a Pennsylvania Democrat, like a blue-collar Democrat, and you just want a candidate that you can rely on, and this is who they put out there for you, are you offended? No. I don't want some empty vessel that's just going to pull the lever for Chuck Schumer. I want somebody that's going to be able to answer questions and communicate clearly to me why they're making the decisions that they are. And that's not what Fetterman is. And it just feels like they're putting again, I said it, just an empty vessel, a prop, a place kicker, if you will.
Well, look who the president is. That's a prop, too. I swear to God, they just put a big shot in his backside, prop him up there. They put like peanut butter on his lips like they used to do Mr. Ed, and he talks, and that's how the presidency's working.
That's how they got Mr. Ed to look like he was talking.
Yes. That's what they do to Joe Biden right now.
Oh, man. Maybe if Biden makes an appearance tonight at the Night with WIBC, we can make that happen.
On the subject of smug MSNBC hosts, listen to this latte liberal turd that they propped up there on their panel, because they're talking about the state of Georgia. Georgia's got a key Senate race going on right now. And some folks in Georgia said they're concerned about what's happening in the border. Well, to this guy, to Captain Lib here, that seems like something that's ridiculous and far-fetched.
So that very dangerous border with Tennessee that has the very
Chattanooga right there.
All the Mexican illegal immigrants coming across.
Yeah, they did understand that they were not on the border, but that they still felt that the border was that the border was impacting them.
They're concerned about Tennessee crossing the border. No, maybe they're concerned about outrageous amounts of drugs flowing into their community that come from the border. I mean, if you've lost anybody you love to a fentanyl overdose, guess where that probably came from?
Exactly.
Meanwhile, on CNN, this was pretty good. You had Republican contributor Scott Jennings against former Obama campaign manager Jim Messina. Now, the subject was, is the GOP having success with Latino voters in Arizona?
There is a clear movement in the polling and in some of the races that have already occurred this year of Hispanic voters choosing Republicans. That's an absolute fact.
So clear majority. So they're winning a majority
of
Latino voters?
I said there's a movement towards Republicans, not a majority. I said there's a movement beyond what we normally get.
Come on, man.
Are you disagreeing? It is a fact that Republicans have done better with Hispanics.
In Arizona, really? So you've lost every statewide race in the past 5 years, and you're doing better with Latino voters? Scott, come on, enough with the talking points.
I feel like your debate with Karl Rove that you had before you came here, like your ears are clogged. I'm telling you.
I'm concerned that the RNC gave you the talking points, and now you can't shift.
I tell you what, man. Do you have a single friend?
Guys,
Sure.
guys.
Stop. I'm sorry. I don't. No. I'm sorry. I don't come on here and read talking points. You know me, and you know me, and you. I don't come on here and read talking. I don't even know you, and you've come out here and insulted me.
But the ad hominem.
That was fun.
Do you have a single friend? God, this guy's a jerk. That was so good.
You look what's happening in Florida. A Telemundo poll just surveyed a bunch of registered Hispanic voters, said they would vote. 51% said DeSantis compared to 44% for Christ for governor in Florida. So I mean, if one thing's true in Florida, I mean, it's not just like an anomaly. I feel like what's happening here, and I think there is going to be a red tidal wave here in a week or two.
Matt Baer has a look at the roads.
Westbound 74 crash between Acton Road and Post Road coming back from Shelbyville. And right now, the right lane is blocked. Traffic is stop and go for about 2.5 miles well into Shelby County now. We are looking at the east side, and 30th Street is Shadeland Avenue shut down at that intersection for an investigation into a shooting. You have to avoid that. Traffic sponsored by Comcast Business. Start saving with Comcast Business Mobile, all on the most reliable 5G network. Most reliable based on Root Metrics. U.S. report results vary, not an endorsement. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
It's 56 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center. Is This Anything is coming up next. Kyle, can we go back to that sound clip? Can I hear this guy tell the other guy he doesn't have any friends?
I tell you what, man. Do you have a single friend?
Guys.
Absolute
guys.
jerk.
Well, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
It was another hot summer day in Evansville, Indiana. My grandmother unfolded the newspaper she had just picked up from her front stoop. A cold shiver ran down her spine. Moms and dads across America knew this was coming, but it still took her breath away. It was June 6, 1944. The headline read, Allies Invade France. This is Brian Robert Singer with Singer Financial. That front page from the Evansville Courier hangs in my office hallway beside a picture of my Uncle Bob hugging Grandma's neck as he sits on her lap in his white dress Navy uniform before he shipped overseas. Both are laughing and cherishing the moment. I never met my Uncle Bob, but every time I look at that picture, I think about the good times I had with my grandparents growing up in Evansville. And I remember my grandmother telling me more than once, one of these days you'll turn around and wonder where all the years went. Grandma was right. Time flies. But the good news is, you're the pilot. Time can't be saved or stored, and nobody has more than 24 hours each day. You're in charge of how you use the hours, days, and years you have in your lifetime. Time is a gift that can only be exchanged for something else. Sleep, exercise, travel, dinner and conversation with friends and loved ones, attending your favorite sporting events, day trips, and shopping excursions with your granddaughter. The next time you ask yourself, where did the time go? You now have an answer to your own question. I exchanged it for something else. Grandma knew, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. If you're an aspiring retiree looking for a financial planning partner who understands that the why is more important than the how, I invite you to invest some time with us discussing your next chapter in life. Call 317-852-9153 or go to singerfinancialgroup.com to schedule a visit.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Hello, Hammer and Nigel here. If you're looking for a local John Deere dealer in Indy to serve your commercial and compact construction equipment needs, the team at Koenig Equipment says turn to them. Their full line of John Deere skid steers, track loaders, front loaders, mini excavators, combined with their team of product experts and certified service techs, make Koenig your premier John Deere dealer.
And Koenig Equipment make it easy because they have 6 convenient Indiana locations. Find the one closest to you by visiting KoenigEquipment.com. That's Koenig, KoenigEquipment.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
The next time you visit your healthcare provider, we'll ask you about your race, ethnicity, and preferred language. Why do we ask? We ask because we care. Providing you with the highest level of care requires that we know all we can about you. Not only will this help us take better care of you, it will also help us learn more about our community and the additional services we can provide to keep Indiana as healthy as possible. This message is brought to you by Indiana University Health, Eskenazi Health, and Community Health Network.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Crime is skyrocketing, our community is hurting, and Ryan Mears lets it happen. Case after case, time after time, Ryan Mears allows violent criminals to return to our streets. Enough is enough. That's why our local law enforcement has endorsed Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Cindy Carrasco will partner with law enforcement, hold criminals accountable, and make our families safe. Vote for safe streets. Vote Cindy Carrasco for Marion County Prosecutor. Paid for by Cindy for Indy.
Trust 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning to help keep your heater running strong. Call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com.
Always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Danville.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything? On 93 WIBC.
Yeah, Hammer, how do we play? Is this anything?
I will run some stories by you. You will break down all the information and tell us if those stories are anything or not.
All right.
So last week, a man broke into a Billings, Montana radio station. It was on the top of the 23rd floor of this building. And they found the station vehicle keys and stole the car. Now, the car was pretty easy to find. It had Mix 97 on it, and it was bright pink. Police found it and arrested the guy. Here is a couple radio employees talking about what happened.
Montana's dumbest criminal because he decided to not only rob a radio station, but for whatever reason, he decided to steal a bright pink and white Kia belonging to Mix 97.1. We're going to notice the bright pink car gone.
I'm just glad none of us were here when he was here.
Yeah, that's something, and I'll tell you, that something similar happened to my family didn't have anything to do with the radio station. My old man and my mom, he's taking her to dinner. Like, this is in the mid-90s down here at St. Elmo's. And he had like a pimped out Hummer. Not like one of those H3s, but like a military Hummer that he had painted like cherry red with rims, tricked it out with a huge sound system in it and stuff.
Pretty distinctive.
It was pretty noticeable. And so they were waiting. They were done with dinner, and the valet went to go get it. Some guy hopped in and drove off and stole it. And I think the manager, the owner, had to take him back out to Liston. They eventually found it a day or two later, but they couldn't find it that night, even though it was a pretty distinct, like you said, a distinct, very memorable, noticeable vehicle. I mean, that's a big bastard too.
Was it stripped out when you found it?
They found it was all stripped out. Yeah,
okay.
All of it, all the equipment, all the rims and stuff were all gone. But yeah, not a very smart criminal for sure.
Is this anything? We made a quick supercut of NBC affiliate traffic reporter in Philadelphia. Her name is Sheila Watko. During her entire traffic report, she was dropping the names of the songs of Taylor Swift's new album. Her new album's called Midnights. Here is this traffic reporter named Sheila in Philly.
Right now, there's no snow on the beach. I'm the traffic anti-hero, so let's take a look at 95. Sweet nothing in both directions. This is our karma for dealing with that earlier construction on 95 in Delco. And if we take a wide look at the area, you're going to see that most of our map is actually bejeweled, looking so red, it'll almost be maroon. A lot of traffic right around the stadiums. It'll be like a labyrinth in this area. Also, our transportation vigilante, SEPTA, I am in a lavender haze today because the mastermind Taylor Swift, she released Midnights.
You know what? If you didn't know anything about Taylor Swift or that she released an album, you would have thought that was Fetterman giving the weather report. Just saying a bunch of random things. Yeah, there's no snow on the beach, anti-hero, and down to the Sweet Nothing Boulevard to Carmen Bejewel. I don't know what she was talking
Lavender
about.
Haze.
Those are all names of the Taylor. Kyle, have you downloaded the Taylor Swift? You're a Taylor Swift.
Not yet. I'm slacking, so sorry, Taylor.
Yeah, I saw a headline recently that the new album Midnights, she's gone political.
Oh, fantastic. Because that worked out so well for her the last time she got political.
It was in 2018, she endorsed, what was it, Bredesen.
The Tennessee
governor over Blackburn, and Blackburn ran away with it.
Once Taylor made it official of what her endorsement was, the approval numbers of Blackburn went through the roof.
Exactly.
And listen, give me Matt Baer doing Smokey and the Bandit traffic every single day over this hack right here.
That was awful.
Is this anything? A coal miner received some attention at a University of Kentucky basketball game.
Oh, I saw this, yeah.
So my man was covered face to toe in coal and soot and all that kind of stuff. But his son loves Kentucky basketball. So they went to this like event that Kentucky basketball was doing. So his son's there and he's got the full uniform on, like the coal worker's uniform. He's filthy. And Coach Calipari noticed that and said, you know what? My family used to have a coal mining history. We're going to hook this guy up with some tickets and a VIP treatment to a game.
I've done some things that have been fulfilling for my wife and I. But this, you're bringing light to a good man, a hardworking Kentuckian, a coal miner who does everything he can to make time for his family and his son and his daughter. Come on. That's what it ends up being. That's the story.
It's an amazing photo. Calipari's awesome. It almost makes me choked up looking at this photo because his little boy's so excited, probably loves his old man, looks up to his old man. And he did, the guy just literally looked like he stepped out of a coal mine. How do you think a coal miner would look stepping out of a big giant cave or whatever? And that's the way this guy looks. He had to rush over to the event. And by the way, this guy better start learning how to code because Joe Biden doesn't like you coal miners too.
No. And damn it for Calipari for doing this.
Yeah, I know.
Because I want to hate him. Right? You're the Kentucky coach. You're scared to play at Assembly Hall, allegedly. I want to hate the dude, but that's such an awesome thing to do at the same time. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Andre Carson is counting on you to re-elect him while he sits back and watches the mess he helped create. He's watching as groceries, gas, and housing costs skyrocket, as crime is spiking and kids are being killed, as our schools are failing both students and parents. And while we suffer, Andre Carson has done nothing but collect millions of your tax dollars. That's why he is rated one of the least effective members of Congress. When are we going to demand better than Andre Carson?
Andre Carson has failed. Have you had enough yet? I am Angela Grabowski, and as a successful businesswoman, I know what needs to be done to stop inflation and bring down prices. I'm a proud immigrant, and I'm dedicated to providing opportunities for all. And I will make it a top priority to clean up the violent crime that has infested our community. A vote for me is a vote for change. I'm Angela Grabowski, a candidate for Congress in Indiana's 7th Congressional District, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Angela Grabowski for Congress, Indiana 7.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. The big fall sale has now been extended through Halloween, and there's even more savings. Annuals, including mums, fall yard art, and pumpkins are all 50% off now through the 31st. 20 to 50% off all nursery stock, 50% off all pottery, and now 50% off Miss Mary's fall decor. Don't forget the Kids Zone this Saturday. Pumpkins, the pumpkin launcher, and more. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundown.gardens.com. That's sundown.gardens.com.
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shibley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shibley for state representative.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How a car thief was caught. 55 degrees, sunny on Monument Circle. Radar is clear. Some clouds expected tonight, so low of 39. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:31. Dodge Chargers were the main target in a car theft ring that spanned Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. Police in Kokomo say electronic evidence helped them in getting charges filed against a man who was arrested in Toledo, Ohio.
By working together with the other agencies, we were able to identify at least one of the suspects in this case and get criminal charges filed.
Captain Scott Purdy with Kokomo Police says U.S. Marshals arrested Devin Barr last week on a warrant from Howard County. IMPD says a man is dead after police found him downtown with trauma wounds. They were found just before 8 a.m. off East Washington Street. That's east of I-70 near the intersection at Southeastern Avenue. Police didn't say anything about a motive, possible suspect, or what kind of trauma the man suffered. If you know anything, give police a call. One person was shot near an apartment complex in Speedway today, says the Speedway Police Department. It happened around 2:30 on Eagleview Court, southeast of the interchange of I-465 and I-74. Police are still investigating. No word on the victim's condition. The latest GDP report showed the nation's economy grew in the third quarter. Good news, says President Biden.
Great economic report today, the GDP report. Things are looking good.
GDP increased by 2.6% in the third quarter after the economy was down the last two quarters. A man who assaulted a police officer during the January 6th Capitol riot is going to prison. Albuquerque head of Tennessee will spend 7.5 years behind bars. The officer he attacked testified before the January 6th committee investigating the riots. The 2022 Sports Travel Awards named the College Football Playoff National Championship, which was held in Indianapolis, as the best collegiate event of this year. It's the first time the CFP was given the award. The four-day event gave Indy a more than $150 million economic boost. And your stock report, the Dow up 194 today to 32,033. The NASDAQ fell 178 to 10,792. And the S&P 500 also down 23 points, closing at 3,807. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
With traffic at 434, here's Matt Baer.
Harrison, 30th of Shadeland on the east side is shut down. The intersection is for that shooting investigation. And we have stopped traffic coming in from Shelbyville westbound 74 between Acton and Post Road there at Thompson Road. And right now the right lane has blocked traffic stop for a couple of miles. And on the east side, southbound 465 jams from 70 down to 74. Eastbound 465 on the north side. Crash at Westfield Boulevard before Keystone. That's blocking the left lane with traffic stop back to Meridian 31. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, get a $2,000 energy savings credit plus sale prices on energy efficient B Window sidings and doors. No payment or interest for up to 24 months. That's Favors B Window. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies and chilly temperatures are ahead for our Thursday night with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Friday, fantastic end of work week with lots of sunshine, highs in the low to mid 60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, my name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Chris Davis, WIBC News Director, joining us live in studio. The newsroom has a pretty cool special airing tonight right after the show at 7 o'clock. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we are going to be delving into the dark.
Oh, Nigel's underpants.
Oh.
I'm not wearing any underpants. That doesn't make any sense.
I had no idea when I came in here today I was going to find out something commando.
This show tonight is called Indiana's Unexplained, the ongoing search for truth. So in my mind, you're going full X-Files, right? You're knocking on doors, you're doing seances, you're doing all the things, right?
Yeah, and this thing is not silly. You know, it's not, I'm not trying to insult Sammy Terry here, but it's not a Sammy Terry type thing. This is an actual, journalistic look into these things. So, for instance, when we talk about possessions and hauntings, we interview the exorcist for the Archdiocese of Indianapolis. And
how much does an exorcist bring down these days? Like, are you the official exorcist of the Archdiocese if you get that job, or do they have like independent contractors that come out?
I think he's official. He went to the Vatican. He sat in on 40 exorcisms over there.
Wow.
And he's done 20 since he's been here in central Indiana.
That's amazing. I would love to watch one of those. I got to be honest. I think it'd be fascinating.
I would not want to be anywhere around.
No way. I mean, hey, look, I've seen the movie. I don't want anything to do with any of that green pea soup being spit all over me. But this is, I understand this is a legitimate, first of all, the UFOs and stuff like that, too, have been in the national news as of late, recent years.
Yes. In fact, Congressman Andre Carson was the leader of a hearing.
That's right.
Back in May on disclosure. So there are people who want to know what the government knows, everything the government knows. And we speak with an expert who says the government will never tell you exactly what they know. And that this effort that they're putting out now is kind of lip service.
So this special that you have on tonight, it kind of covers a lot of ground, but it focuses on Indiana, right?
Yes, it does focus on Indiana. For instance, we talk with the Indiana Bigfoot Research Organization head. He lives down in Martinsville. He talks about some Bigfoot experiences here in Indiana. You may be surprised to find out that they happen all over the state here. It's not confined to places like British Columbia or Oregon.
Like actual, like legitimate. I'm calling the authorities. I think I saw Bigfoot.
There's a Sasquatch running around here somewhere.
Yeah, well, you have to ask yourself, who is the official investigator of Sasquatch? There's no real official investigator of these things. So investigations.
So police aren't taking their time investigating these kinds of things.
I don't think they are. So investigations have to depend on people who go around and do this.
What I think is interesting, and again, I haven't heard the special. I'm excited to listen to it because I love these news specials that you guys do. You do these specials periodically where all the newsroom members, they're crunching research, they're doing things. I think these things are great. I DJ'd a wedding where the old Central State was, because now it's like an event center. And I've DJ'd a couple of events where the old Central State Mental Hospital used to be. Every time I go over there, there's always somebody that says, oh, I hear that's haunted. I hear that late at night, you hear all the screams. Like, that's one of the places that I've heard is haunted. Tonight, are we going to hear about others?
Now, you might be interested to know that tonight you're going to hear from some people who actually do paranormal investigations and ghost tours here in Indianapolis. So you will be hearing about others. There are some places that are considered extremely haunted or possessed, whichever one you prefer to believe, here in Indiana. One is called Willow's Weep. That is in Cayuga, Indiana, north of Terre Haute on the Illinois border. That is considered one of the most haunted places in America. That house. It was built in the shape of an upside-down cross.
Whoa. Yeah, that just gave me chills. I mean, like, I'm not really generally somebody that believes in this sort of thing, but The Exorcist that you spoke with alone has me intrigued.
Well, let me tell you, I sacrificed many nights of sleep doing this.
Really? What do you mean? Like, because it freaked you out?
Yeah, it freaked me out. I mean, when you hear about that, even if you're not a believer at all in the supernatural, and because I believe in God and angels, I also believe that there have to be, the opposite.
Yeah. Demons.
Even if you don't believe that, and you listen to what this priest says, and you listen to some of these things that have happened here in Indiana, you will be freaked out enough to lose sleep.
Now, did Lucas Oil Stadium make the list? Because it feels like that joint's been haunted ever since Andrew Luck got injured and never came back. It's been one ghost after another trying to play the quarterback for the Colts. Did that make the list at all?
Well, the thing about it is it will be haunted until it's paid off.
That's true.
That's it. So, but this isn't like rehashed old tales that have been floating around forever here, right? I mean, this is all new stuff, many different perspectives and things like that.
I can't say it's all new because there are some things that are just too good not to revisit, such as the House of 200 Demons in Gary. That has been on Zach Bagans' show, but at the same time, we talk about why Zach Bagans bought it and then, instead of making money off of it, had it demolished.
Who's Zach Bagans?
He is a guy who has a ghost program. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Maybe it's American Ghost Stories, something like that. And he's got a museum in Vegas, a haunting museum.
Interesting. All right, so 7 o'clock tonight. And for those who can't listen to it, will this be posted online?
This will be posted online next week.
All right. Chris Davis, news director, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to this. But
Can't wait to hear it.
I've always said, I'm not scared of the devil because anybody that loses a fiddle contest to a hillbilly in Georgia doesn't warrant fear from me. If the hillbilly in Georgia beats him in a fiddle contest, I'm not scared of him at all.
You go, you do you, dude.
So there was a story going around of this teenager who shot video of herself covering up her eyes as her dad surprises her with a cake.
Okay.
Now, you're going to be just as surprised as her when she reads what's written in the frosting. Now, keep in mind, she's a teenager.
Is it alive? Okay.
No! 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 It says yippee for your hickey? No!
Yippee for your hickey?
Celebrating her first hickey.
Oh, no. Oh, it just makes me cringe because I have a little daughter. I can't imagine the day when I come home from work and she's at that age and she's got a boyfriend and she's covering her neck up with scarves.
Oh, it's coming.
And I'm like, come on. I'm going to go crazy. I am that dad.
Get her a cake. Yippee for the hickey.
This is yippee for your hickey? No!
How mortified and embarrassing does she have to be for that?
Oh, that's so good.
At least a dad has a good sense of humor about it. I'm making a fist. I'm polishing my shotgun. You know what I mean?
You're going to be Clint Eastwood sitting on the porch like in Gran Torino.
So I know how guys are. Sorry.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
A cancer diagnosis can make time stand still. That's why it's important to access care fast. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you can go from making initial contact with us to sitting down for an initial consultation in just 48 hours. Guaranteed. It's faster access to the expertise and innovative treatments of the country's leading cancer center. Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
I am a customer of American Standard Heating and Air. They are indeed built to a higher standard. And here's one of those fantastic local independent dealers in Central Indy.
How about Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling in Franklin and Johnson and the surrounding counties? You can call Eric Marshall and Mark Chester at your trusted American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer, Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling. If you're tired of hearing the ads to get a free furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner and know that that's basically just a gimmick, listen, call the professionals for an honest quote. That's Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, Johnson and surrounding counties. Hey, make sure that furnace is running safe and efficiently, and make sure that indoor air quality is running efficiently as well. So if you're on the south side, visit callthemarshallnow.com or call 317-738-5940. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Hammer here for Indy's hometown sportsbook, Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers, Indiana. We got a big weekend coming up. We've got college football. We've got the NBA. Hockey is back. College basketball is right around the corner. But it's really all about the NFL, right? The Colts, the Commanders. That's a 4:00 game coming up this weekend, and the Colts are still a favorite. The line is up to 3. The betting community loves the quarterback change for the Colts. Do you? You can bet that game right now at Bet Rivers. If you don't have a Bet Rivers account, go to your phone, go to your app store or the Android store, either one, and get Bet Rivers Indiana. Always make sure you check the daily specials and the promotions because you don't want to miss out on your ways to get extra money, free wagers, profit boost opportunities. Nobody takes care of the returning player better than Bet Rivers. Must be a resident of Indiana, 21 and over, and if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
There's a reason Comcast Business powers more businesses than any other provider. Actually, there's a few. Comcast Business offers the fastest, reliable network, the peace of mind that comes with Security Edge, helping to protect all your connected devices, and the most reliable 5G mobile network. Want me to keep going? I can. Whether your small business is starting or growing, you need Comcast Business. Technology solutions that put you ahead and give you serious savings. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Get internet, security, and voice for just $40 per month for 12 months when you add mobile. Plus, get free installation and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Ends 11/6/2022. Restrictions apply. Requires Eagle Bill and AutoPay. New Comcast Business 250 megabit per second internet. Security Edge and one voice line customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and other fees and subject to change. Must add mobile 90 days from internet install and keep all services for mobile discount. Comcast Business Mobile utilizes the network with the most RootMetrics 5G data reliability wins in 1H 2022. Results may vary. Award is not an endorsement.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me.
Matt Bear, I've had so many people ask me, is Matt Bear going to be there tonight? Oh, we love Matt Bear's deep voice. Is he going to take his shirt off if he goes tonight? So answer all of those questions for us now, please, Matt.
Yes and yes.
All right.
Night with WIBC.
Now we're talking. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm going to get there about 7:15 after my last report. I'm looking forward to it, man. This is a great time. Northeast side, eastbound 465 has a crash, blocking 2 left lanes now. Westfield Boulevard before Keystone Avenue. Traffic is stopped back to Meridian Street. And then eastbound 465 continues to drag at Keystone. On the southeast side, almost in Shelby County, crash westbound 74 before Post. That's the right lane. Traffic backed up a couple of miles. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, get a $2,000 energy savings credit, plus sale prices on energy efficient B window sidings and doors. No payment or interest for up to 24 months. That's Faber's B Window. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Oh, we love Matt. His voice is so deep. His arms are so big. I wish Matt was my boyfriend. That's all that we ever hear all the time.
Right. Keep him away from me.
You have the potential to meet a future Mrs. Bear tonight.
Oh, I just won,
Wow.
It is October Fest. It is.
All month long, baby.
All month long, October Fest. Let the games begin. 57 right now at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Who was the negative ad we were watching earlier? I couldn't. I looked up there. It was like some grainy video of some woman. She donated to Biden. There was like blood dripping from the screen. There's so many of these campaign ads right now with the midterms coming up. They're they're funny sometimes.
Every attack ad that really gets to me is like a black and white grainy photo, and it's slow motion of somebody leaving and turning their head. Like every time.
Like Bigfoot.
Right. Like the iconic Bigfoot walk where the arms are out, slowly turning their head. Can you trust this person?
Well, and I mean, not only that, but the campaign ads for people that are running for office, like Kemp's last campaign ad in Georgia, where one of the things was, I got me a big truck so I can go round up some illegals. Got a gun rack in the back. I mean, that was his legitimate campaign ad.
And he won.
And he beat Stacey Abrams.
He beat Stacey Abrams with that. And he's about to do it again.
Stacey Abrams still hasn't conceded.
So I got to thinking, what would it sound like if the founding fathers did negative attack ads, like if they were running for office? So this is what it would sound like if Thomas Jefferson were running an John Adams ad here.
All right.
John Adams is a blind, bald, crippled, toothless man who wants to start a war with France. While he's not busy importing mistresses from Europe, he's trying to marry one of his sons to a daughter of King George. Haven't we had enough monarchy in America?
I'm Thomas Jefferson. I approve this message because John Adams is a hideous, hermaphroditical character with neither the force and firmness of a man nor the gentleness and sensibility of a woman.
Like, I would have loved to have been around for, founding father attack ads.
Oh, wow.
Because that John Adams couldn't just sit around and let that happen.
If Thomas Jefferson wins, murder, robbery, rape, adultery, and incest will be openly taught and practiced. The air will be rent with the cries of the distressed. The soil will be soaked with blood and the nation black with crimes. Are you prepared to see your dwellings in flames, female chastity violated, children writhing on a pike?
Good Lord.
I'm John Adams, and I approve this message.
See, I could see these two going at it because they didn't really like each other, but they ultimately became friends toward the end.
Sounds like a haunted house ad.
I think this was in Arizona. A couple of years ago, there was some woman who had a bunch of money laying around. She happened to be rich, and she bought airtime on local TV and radio stations, basically saying, hey, I'm tired of attack ads.
I'm Linda Messmer. I'm not a politician. I'm not running for any office. I'm a proud American citizen, and I voted in every election since I've been old enough to vote. I try to be an informed voter, by reading about and listening to the candidates. I am sick and tired of being bombarded with all the negative, hateful, mean-spirited ads. To all the candidates who are running these kinds of ads, I say, stop it. I'm Linda Messmer, and I approve this message.
Everybody's grandma right there.
I will follow Linda Messmer wherever she wants to lead. I got that. She got money laying around. She bought advertising time to say, knock that crap off. I love that.
Stop it.
Stop it. So here at the Hammer and Nigel show, we're going to get in the spirit. I mean, it's midterms, it's Halloween. Yeah. How do we combine the two? So here's a good old-fashioned attack ad on Halloween.
Oh.
October 31st, vote no on Halloween. Halloween supports dangerous roving gangs of children going door to door to get their fix. When it comes to healthcare, Halloween doesn't care. Under Halloween, tooth decay rates have doubled and instances of child obesity have skyrocketed. Halloween is deceptive. Sure, it may look like a sexy firefighter, but don't count on Halloween if your house is burning down. And Halloween is not a legal holiday. If Halloween had its choice, it would allow for more illegal holidays to invade and take over your calendar. Don't be tricked. Halloween is no treat. This October 31st, vote no on Halloween. Paid for by Thanksgiving.
I'm telling you, man, when we inevitably get fired by our new bosses at Radio 1, somebody needs to hire us just to sit back and write negative campaign ads.
We could do that all day.
All day long. Yeah. We're here for that. Coming up next, one of the great follows on Twitter, Greg Price. We retweet him from time to time. He is a fun follow. We're going to talk to him about what we're seeing with the midterm races. What's going on with Fetterman? This bull crap that's happening to this veteran that's running for office in northern Indiana, where Politico basically outed her as being a victim of sexual assault. All of that's coming up next. We'll chat with Greg Price. We've got Rob Kendall ready to go off the rails. Right. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As sheriff, he expanded the gang intelligence unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
No better time than right now to have energy-efficient Window Nation windows installed in your house. Get them in before the holidays. Window Nation has a great way to help you stay warm this winter and more comfortable with incredible savings. By the way, I have Window Nation windows. I'm a Window Nation customer. They look great on my house. They've saved me a ton on energy bills. You could save a ton as well. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy right now with Window Nation. Plus, there's no money up front, no interest, nothing until 2025.
Buy 2 windows, get 2 for free. Any style of window from Window Nation. And the best part, there's no limit. Plus, you don't pay anything until 2025. You know what? Maybe that's the best part. There are so many good parts about this deal, I'm not sure which one's the best. It's an amazing deal, but you have to act right now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Be sure to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
The next time you visit your healthcare provider, we'll ask you about your race, ethnicity, and preferred language. Why do we ask? We ask because we care. Providing you with the highest level of care requires that we know all we can about you. Not only will this help us take better care of you, it will also help us learn more about our community and the additional services we can provide to keep Indiana as healthy as possible. This message is brought to you by Indiana University Health, Eskenazi Health, and Community Health Network.
Is it yay or nay for snow this winter? You might want to hold your horses, but not those horses. Yes, the Colts. Tonight I'll take a look at weather data from the past decade to forecast how much snow we'll get and how that ties in with the Colts' performance. Tonight at 11.
Everybody's talking about So Help Me Todd.
Must be nice to be perfect.
It's exhausting.
A new So Help Me Todd, tonight after Ghosts on CBS.
I need to turn off these news alerts.
Interest rates climbing. Stocks are crashing.
I know. I stopped looking at my 401k too. Democrats in D.C. are killing the economy.
We need leaders who actually work for a living.
That's why I'm voting for an outsider, Julie McGuire.
Good point. Julie McGuire? She isn't a politician.
Julie McGuire is one of us, a common-sense conservative who understands the challenges families are facing, like inflation and education.
Yeah, and Julie's a wife, a mom, and an active member at St. Rock Church. She understands our community.
Did you know Julie is supported by first responders? McGuire's been endorsed by the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC.
Julie McGuire also backs our law enforcement officers. McGuire is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, and she'll fight to keep our schools and neighborhoods on the South Side safe.
Julie McGuire will be a great state representative.
Paid for by Julie McGuire for state representative.
Are you a mechanic or work on tractors on the farm? Come join the team at Reynolds, your hometown John Deere dealer. They're now hiring service technicians from any industry or mechanical background at all 5 of their central Indiana locations. Whether just out of high school and looking to learn the trade or a seasoned mechanic, there's a career path for you there. Get paid on-the-job training, competitive pay, and excellent benefits at a voted top Indiana workplace 5 years in a row. Learn more at reynoldsfarmequipment.com/careers. That's reynoldsfarmequipment.com/careers.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a man was shot by police after a chase in Lawrence, and police are investigating after a boy was shot in Speedway this afternoon. It's coming up after Fox News Radio from the Shepherd Community Center studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
A high-tech investment gets presidential treatment. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden in Syracuse, New York, to highlight what's expected to be the biggest semiconductor plant in the country.
We're joined today by the CEO of Micron to celebrate their commitment to invest $100 billion over the next 20 years here in America.
He says it's part of broader progress for the U.S. economy.
And it's going to ensure that the future is made in America. One of the bright spots around the country.
The president's been acknowledging high inflation, but insisting his efforts to lower costs are making a difference. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy disagrees, also rejecting the president's praise of today's report on the third quarter economic growth after 2 quarters of contraction.
Every sign shows greater recession based upon the Democratic policies.
McCarthy also counters the president's claims Republicans would make inflation worse and cut Social Security and Medicare. Trading of Twitter shares will be suspended overnight as Elon Musk prepares to close on his renewed deal to buy the social media giant and take it private. He's also offering some reassurance after previous free speech comments that raised concern.
In a message to advertisers on Twitter, Musk says he's buying the company to have a common digital town square where a wide range of beliefs can be debated in a healthy manner. Though he added Twitter cannot become a free-for-all hellscape where anything can be said with no consequences.
Fox's Jenny Cosola. Twitter sued Musk for trying to back out of the deal. The judge set tomorrow as the deadline to close on it or face a trial next month. Amazon shares plunging 18% in after-hours trading following a weak sales outlook, with one executive noting people's budgets are tight. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Shot by the cops. 55 degrees, sunny on Monument Circle. Some clouds move in tonight with a low of 38. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. A man has been shot by police after a chase earlier this afternoon. Lawrence Police Chief Gary Woodruff says the cops ID'd the suspect's car as stolen, and he ended up crashing.
As officers approached, an officer-involved shooting occurred by Lawrence police officers. The person that was an occupant of the vehicle was struck at least one time.
Chief Woodruff says it's unclear why the cops shot the suspect. More info to come later today. 3 men fought back when someone broke into their home with a gun. Parker Carlson reports.
Police say that the 18-year-old burglar wore a ski mask when he broke into a student community apartment complex in Kokomo. 3 men in that apartment fought back, knocking away not one, but 2 guns that the burglar brought with him. A shot was fired in that fight. fight, but nobody was hit. It ended when one of the men got his own gun to threaten the invader and hold him down until police could arrive. Parker Carlson, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
One person was shot near an apartment complex in Speedway today, says the Speedway Police Department. It happened around 2:30 on Eagleview Court, southeast of the interchange of I-465 and I-74. The victim was a boy and is in the hospital. Police do not have a suspect. Andre Carson is the congressman representing Indianapolis, or the 7th District. His opponent, Republican Angela Grabowski, actually lives in Carmel, which is the 5th District. But she tells Indy Politics that's A-OK.
My life is in the district. I spend 10 to 12 hours every day servicing the people of the district.
She says her businesses are in Indy, and she's lived in the area for 33 years. She says it's ludicrous to say because she lives in Carmel, she doesn't understand Circle City. Fall and winter in Indiana are prime flu seasons.
So the flu is spread primarily by the droplets that are spread by coughing, sneezing, and then deposit on surfaces.
Dr. Blocker Smith with IU Health. He encourages almost everyone over 6 months old to get the flu vaccine. He also recommends washing your hands. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
My husband and I live next door to a haunted graveyard. It's a little creepy, but we manage. Just like we manage without home internet. Do I wish my mobile hotspot was faster? Yes, but I make it work. Kinda. Just like we make it work sleeping next to a 17th century burial ground.
Honey, can you move your hand?
That's not my hand.
It's mine.
Not having home internet? It's not that bad.
It is that bad. Don't settle. Switch to Xfinity and get one line of unlimited mobile and home internet together for $50 a month for 12 months. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit your local Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New Connect Internet customers only on 1-year contract. Internet included for 12 months. New Xfinity mobile account required. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Xfinity post-pay internet required for Xfinity mobile. Additional devices extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of data usage. Offer ends 12/21/22.
The traffic on the 5s at 5:05. Here's Matt Baer.
Crash clear. Harrison Northeast side eastbound 465 at Westfield Boulevard. All lanes are open and traffic is moving once again. We're still stop and go back to 31 Meridian, then slow all the way back to 865. In from Shelbyville, crash between Acton and Post. That's blocking the right lane. Traffic backed up for a couple of miles. And then 30th at Shadeland Avenue still closed because of that shooting investigation. You'll have to avoid that. Traffic sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance. Questions about youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit organization, develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoach.org. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We're working another chilly night under partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will dip into the upper 30s to low 40s. Friday, expecting a nice day to end the work week with abundant sunshine. Highs a little warmer, getting into the low to mid 60s. Saturday is going to be an absolutely great day to get out the door for any Halloween plans or going to any Halloween festivities. Highs getting into the mid to upper 60s with lots of sunshine. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
56 degrees, sunny downtown. I'm Harrison Silcox, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
On 93 WIBC.
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a very special guest in the DriveHubler.com hotline.
He is the senior digital strategist for X Strategies on Twitter at X Strategies LLC. A great follow individually on Twitter. Greg Price joins us right now. Greg, we got a lot of stuff that we could get into here, but let's start with what I think is the biggest story in America. It's been a couple of days since this train wreck of a debate where Fetterman goes up to the podium, can't really follow along, can't really answer the questions coherently, but for some reason, we're the bad guys if you point out that this dude's not up for the job. What did you think the other night?
Well, hi, and good night, everybody.
Right?
Great interview. Okay, that's Greg Price, everybody.
No, so thank you for having me on. But yeah, it was a train wreck from like the start. Like I was getting ready to watch it, and I was like, okay, He has all these accommodations. How bad could this possibly be? And then he opens by wishing everyone a good night, and it did not get any better from there. But what it shows is that the whole strategy of their campaign was to keep this guy hidden from the public and hide the true nature of his recovery from the public, because he's refusing to release his medical records. He released this quote-unquote note from his doctor that who also happened to be a donor to his campaign. But as we saw last night, this guy is not he is not healthy. He is not what these people they are hiding how unhealthy he is from the public. And keep in mind that early voting in Pennsylvania has been going on for the last month. So people, millions of people have already cast a mail-in ballot in Pennsylvania and have probably already voted for John Fetterman. But, can you really watch that guy up on that stage and think to yourself, yes, that's who I want representing me in the Senate? It's crazy.
Well, that's my point, Greg. Nigel here. The Democrats, that just shows you what they think of their constituency. Is that who you want represent? Some empty vessel that's going to vote how Chuck Schumer tells you how to vote? Much less, I could care less about Fetterman, who is being propped up and used as a tool for possible votes if he wins the Senate.
Yeah, definitely, and it also shows their complete obsession with abortion. They care so much about being able to kill more unborn babies that they don't even care that this guy has all these problems. That's how obsessed they are with the abortion issue. It's their religion, and they're willing to. They would elect a guy in a coma if he would vote for abortion. And the other thing is how psycho must the people around John Fetterman be? Yeah. And his wife in particular, Giselle Fetterman has got to be just the biggest psychopath in America. She's got to know her husband is not healthy. He's not up for this, but she's putting him out there every day because I guess she's just that obsessed with the fame and power of being a political wife. I guess we can call that the Dr. Jill effect.
Right. 100%. I told my wife this the other day. If I ever get to the point to where I don't make sense and you're propping me up there and I'm embarrassing myself, take me off the stage, take the microphone away from me, pull the plug, but that's not what you're seeing. And something we talked about the other day, Greg, Fetterman is bad. We see it with our own eyes. They told us he was fine. How bad is Joe Biden if Fetterman is this bad and they told us that he's fine? How the hell worse is Joe Biden?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, the White House at this point is just a 24/7 nursing home. Imagine, we all see what happens when Joe Biden doesn't have the teleprompter in front of him. The guy just, he says things like yesterday when he said that fees for extra leg room on airplanes mostly affect people of color. If you're over 6 feet tall on an airplane, you're officially a person of color. But it's the same with John Fetterman. He was that much of a train wreck with the closed captioning and with all of the accommodations that were provided to him that the Oz campaign agreed to. Imagine how bad he is in just a one-on-one conversation when he doesn't have those closed captions. And there was you remember you guys obviously remember the NBC news reporter who interviewed him.
Oh yeah,
who was attacked viciously by the left because she said that when his captions weren't turned on that he couldn't keep a conversation. And all of these journalists were attacking her, being no, I interviewed John Fetterman for an hour and he sounded fine. Well, they were obviously lying. And just imagine how bad he is when he doesn't have those captions in front of him. It's probably even worse.
And we're speaking with Greg Price here on the Hammer and Nigel show. What did you think of the narrative the next day that Dr. Oz was a bully?
Oh my God, these people are so full of crap, and they will do anything for power. They will say and do anything for power and say and do anything than to protect the right to kill unborn babies. They do not care. They would run they would run if there was a guy in a coma, they would be coming up with excuses for, hey, it's mean to attack. We need the first member of the Senate who's brain dead. It's so ridiculous. But I don't think people buy it because obviously the lead that John Fetterman had over the summer is completely evaporated.
Yes.
And, I grew up from my family members and a lot of my friends some of whom are rabid Democrats, but said after watching this debate that they can't vote for this guy. I don't think the people are buying what And, like, we don't even have to imagine, like, if John Fetterman were a Republican and what they'd be saying about him, because if you remember in 2016, Mark Kirk, the Republican senator from Illinois, had a stroke, and, like, the Chicago Tribune at the time wrote an op-ed endorsing Tammy Duckworth, saying that his recovery from a stroke was a real problem. So it's just, their attacks are crazy, and I don't think it's going to work. I think Dr. Oz is going to win at the end of the day.
My favorite thing that I've seen is that butt sniffer Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC comparing Fetterman to FDR in wartime. That's where we're at right now.
Boy.
Greg Price is our guest. Greg, one more thing here before we let you go. We've been talking about this story a lot here in Indy. Congressional candidate Jennifer Ruth Green. She's an African-American woman. She's a veteran, serving in the district up in northern Indiana, the region area, as it's known as here. And Politico and reporter Adam Wren outed the fact that she was a survivor of sexual assault against her wishes. Now, Politico says they got this from, all the legal channels. They did everything right. Well, we found out some information yesterday that the Air Force said this was leaked to the opposition research groups against Jennifer Ruth Green. I know you've been putting some things out on Twitter about this. I want to get your thoughts on this story.
Well, it's completely disgusting in every possible way, from the fact that somebody in the Air Force leaked these, like, incredibly personal records to an opposition research firm, which, by the way, there's only two that are paying the Mervan campaign on his FEC records, and one of them is the DCCC's. So we'll see if the DCCC paid for a Republican candidate's sexual assault to be leaked. But between Politico claiming that they obtained these from a standard FOIA, which a sexual assault that military superiors tried to cover up would obviously not have appeared in a standard public records request. So Politico just completely lies about this. And then you have Mervan pretending he had nothing to do with it, which obviously, since they were leaked to an opposition research firm, the walls are kind of closing in on him a little on that lie. But it's just, it's disgusting, and it just shows how much they are terrified of Jennifer Ruth Green, of the fact that this race is a toss-up, the fact that the polls have it as one of the toughest races in America, and how there is a very real chance that she is going to flip a blue seat that Republicans haven't won in 92 years. And they're getting dirty. It's dirty politics at its finest, but that's what they do. They will go as far as to out a woman as a victim of sexual assault to try and smear her as a failed military officer in order to keep power. That is how far they would go.
Wow.
They will also go as far as to have the Black Caucus campaign for the white dude she's running against. So this is what we're seeing here in Indiana, man. It's a mess. Hey, Greg, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate you joining us here in Indy. We'll do this again soon sometime.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Matt Bear's got to look at the roads.
Crash clear, northeast side, eastbound 465 at Westfield Boulevard. Stop and go traffic has moved now from Keystone Avenue past Allisonville, but we are not backed up at Westfield anymore. Looking at westbound 74 in from Shelbyville, crash between Acton and Post Road. This is blocking the right lane, the slow lane. Traffic's backed up for a couple of miles at 30th at Shavelet Avenue. That intersection is closed for a shooting investigation. Traffic sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
56 right now at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
The Chill has arrived with a cool cash instant rebate of up to $1,550 on your complete Carrier system or special financing up to 72 months from Masters Heating and Cooling. Turn to the experts with a 10-year parts and 3-year labor warranty, standard on every job, and their apples-to-apples price match guarantee. The Chill is no problem with a cool cash rebate from Masters. Online at mastersheatcool.com.
We are Masters. As we approach the holiday season, there's a couple things to keep in mind about Diamonds Direct. Look, if you're someone that's price sensitive right now this year, don't forget that you could still afford Diamonds Direct. They are the absolute value leader. Direct importers. pricings, what they are famous for, and they have relationships with diamond cutters all over the place that go back for decades.
Guys, we're approaching that time of year. If you are one of those guys that's thinking about popping the question over the holidays, maybe on New Year's, whatever the case may be, it's time to go to Diamonds Direct. DiamondsDirect.com, or stop by that beautiful showroom at Keystone at the Crossing. What's great about Diamonds Direct is the customer service and the warranties. Nobody has better warranties than Diamonds Direct. And if you're going to make that level of investment, don't you want the best warranty? The staff will treat you like a rock star the minute you walk in, and that's why I keep going back. I am a customer. Diamonds Direct, Keystone at the Crossing. Stop by. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Meet Kerry Forrestal, Marion County Sheriff. He's been keeping us safe for over 30 years. As U.S. Marshal, he drove drug gangs out of town. As Sheriff, he expanded the Gang Intelligence Unit to stop violent crime. And he's cracking down on sex offenders to keep our kids safe.
As Sheriff, I won't stop. And my highest priority will be to protect our children.
Kerry Forrestal. Promises made, promises kept.
Paid for and authorized by Forrestal for Sheriff.
Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Aristotle said that. The Singer Financial Team embodies it so your family can live it. This is Brian Singer. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people.
This is Erica Baker, advisor and team member with Singer Financial. Our clients expect excellence from their financial advisory team. At Singer Financial, our mission is to be the last financial team your family will ever need or want. We understand that requires a deep level of engagement and trust. At Singer Financial, we take the time to get to know you, to understand what you need, and also what you want from your investments. We can help provide answers to the questions you may not even know to ask. That means we don't really have clients. We have relationships with people, relationships with couples, relationships with families who deserve excellence. Feeling valued and trusted by your family is the most rewarding aspect of what we do. That's why our team is committed to excellence. Excellence is what you should expect when you choose to partner with Singer Financial.
The Singer Financial Team has developed and refined a proprietary process designed to help people who are still working create a work-optional lifestyle. We call it the RIM. The Retirement Income Money Map looks at 5 key areas of your financial life and then informs your choices to design a lifestyle as unique as you are. The RIM process puts all the pieces of the puzzle together to increase your chances to live the lifestyle you've imagined for your retirement.
Our team can help make your money live as long as you do. Go to singerfinancialgroup.com to explore the RIM process or call 317-852-9153 to schedule a virtual or in-office discovery visit.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
The Sundown Gardens Big Fall Sale has now been extended through Halloween. Annuals including mums, fall yard art, and pumpkins all 50% off now through Halloween. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Danville.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here with a couple of very special guests in the 93 WIBC studios.
Love this. This is awesome. We've got Dawn Waylon and Greg Stevens here. Waylon's Heroes. That's what we're talking about today. So, Dawn, let me start with you. I can't help but notice that your last name is Waylon. So I'm assuming that you're involved in this process here. Tell me a little bit about what Waylon's Heroes is.
That is correct. Waylon's Heroes is a 501c3 nonprofit. It was established earlier this year to raise funds to help pay for service dogs for veterans in need.
Now, Greg, your affiliation with this is what?
I sit on the board.
And you are a veteran, correct?
Correct.
Tell us about your military experience.
I served in the Marine Corps from 2002 to 2006. I was a rifleman, so I was in the infantry. Did 3 deployments to Iraq, totaling about 21 months.
So how did you two get connected for this cause?
So somebody that Don works with, Nathan, he introduced us, and they asked me to sit on the board. I was like, absolutely, it's a great cause.
Well, Don, where did you get the idea to start Waylon's Heroes and the implementation of using and providing service dogs for veterans?
Earlier this year, I attended a continuing education class for my daytime job, real estate, and it was to teach us how to work with veterans, be a better advocate for veterans. I learned a lot about what veterans go through, learned a lot of things that were really disturbing, and I wanted to do what I could to help. And in talking to some veterans I know, they were talking about their service dogs and how the dogs not only helped them, but helped their family as a whole, because they were able to participate in things they weren't doing prior to getting the dog and having that support. So I decided this is what I could do to help not only the veteran, but their family.
And Greg, take us through what it's like as a combat veteran and you come home. What kind of impact do the dogs and other things make?
So when you come home, you go through a multitude of emotions, and nobody equips you with how to handle those. You don't have the tools to process what's happened to you after being exposed to traumatic experiences. So when you get paired with a dog, like the dog can sense your anxiety. And the dogs have personalities just like a normal person would be. So they become your friend. They become part of you, part of your family, and they help you through the trauma that you're going through mentally. And when you have that dog there, you no longer feel alone because you always have somebody there to engage with.
Can you give me a specific example of something that you went through that would be considered traumatic, just so our audience can kind of understand what we're talking about here?
So, in the 21 months when I was in Iraq, I was involved in direct combat, IED explosions, small arms fire, RPGs coming at us. I mean, I witnessed so much death, I couldn't even process it at the time. And it wasn't until after I got out.
Is there a point to where after, like, the first couple times you see it, you become numb? Does that ever happen?
You can't react to it when you're in a situation because
it's happening so
quick.
quick.
Do your job.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be happening so quick around you.
I actually have my own personal experience with my own dog. It wasn't a trauma support dog, but it was my dog. I was an IMPD officer. I got shot on duty, and my dog was with me there while I recouped. I was never wounded in Iraq. I had to come home to get shot.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
That is unbelievable. And when you get home, were you open to the idea of a military service dog? Were you skeptical at all that this would work and help kind of maybe relieve some of the anxieties and traumatic experiences that you witnessed?
No, not at all, because I grew up with dogs. Okay. And I know how awesome they are.
So, Dawn, again, we're speaking with Dawn Waylon and Greg Stevens. Waylon's Heroes is the group. How much money does it take to come up with a service dog? I'm assuming it's something a little bit more difficult than just going down to the pound and training him a little bit. Take me through the process of what this all entails.
So we have partnered with Ultimate Canine out of Carmel. They find the dogs. They have certain breeders they work with, and they do the training. Depending on the breed of dog, you are looking at anywhere from $21,000 to $25,000, and that includes the training.
For each dog? For
each dog, yes.
And how many dogs, like throughout the course of a year, approximately, is the goal for Waylon's Heroes?
We are very close to being able to present our first dog, which I think is incredible. We had our first donation August 10th. So we are within $5,000 of that first dog. Going forward, we would like to do 2 to 3 dogs a year.
Dawn, how did you get involved with working with the military? Because your day job is you're involved with, I believe, FC Tucker. How did you get involved in, ultimately helping out folks like Greg and other military folks?
I've always had a passion to help military, first responders. My uncle and my grandfather were both IMPD. My uncle then moved to Texas and was an officer there. My brother was in the Army. So I had all of that exposure, and for as far back as I can remember, I've always had a great respect for those people who do what they do, because if they didn't do it, I would not be doing what I do. So I was involved with a program early on that gave back to heroes, first responders, veterans, and I decided, why can I not do this and give back the way I want to give back instead of how I'm told to give back?
Greg, can you take us through the similarities of being in the United States Armed Forces and being a member of IMPD? What are the similarities there?
So, regardless of what trauma you experience, trauma is trauma, and you process it the exact same. It doesn't even matter if it could be a car wreck. You could have PTSD from that. But it's how your brain files it, and it comes when you don't have the drive and you don't have anything to do. That's when you're alone with your thoughts, and that's when you go down the rabbit hole that you don't want to be down.
And you're still an IMPD officer?
I retired in 2015 officially.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put your information up on the Hammer and Nigel Show social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If somebody wants to make a donation, how do they do that, Dawn?
They can go to waylonsheroes.com. They can donate on that page. There's also an online store if they want to buy T-shirts, coffee mugs, long sleeve, short sleeve T-shirts. Part of this is we try to promote Red Friday, which is remembering every defender. So we have red T-shirts that have our logo on it. So if you want to be part of Red Friday, you can buy that. You can always send donations. We did a 5K this year. We'll do another one next year. We're in our infancy, but I think we're taking off well, and we're going to have a lot to offer people.
And if a veteran is listening and says, you know what, I'd kind of like to sign up for this program. I could use the help of a dog. Can they do that too?
They certainly can. There is an option on our website where they can apply for a dog. So they would go through our board. We would review that application and then send it on to Ultimate Canine so they can do their process and make sure it's a good match for the dog and the veteran.
Okay, we've got that information up on Hammer and Nigel social media.
Yeah, thank you for what you do, Don and Greg. Thank you for your service.
Thank
so
you, guys.
much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, Rob Kendall coming up in just a moment. Right now, a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A police shooting in Lawrence. Sunny, 56 degrees downtown. All clear on the radar. Cloudy with lows in the upper 30s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. Lawrence PD spotted what they believe was a stolen car earlier this afternoon near Shadeland Avenue, and the suspect crashed after refusing to pull over. Chief Gary Woodruff says police shot the suspect.
The dynamics that led to that officer-involved shooting remain very much under investigation.
The suspect is at the hospital. More info is expected to come out later today. A boy is in the hospital after he was shot near an apartment complex this afternoon in Speedway. The shooting happened at the Eagle Creek Court Apartments, say police. That's southeast of the interchange of I-465 and I-74. Police do not have a suspect. They say the boy is in critical condition at the hospital. 3 men stopped an armed burglar who broke into a Kokomo apartment, say police. Officers responded around 3:30 Thursday morning to a student housing community near Indiana University's Kokomo campus. When they got there, police found 3 men holding the suspect at gunpoint. They told police 18-year-old Merrill Tyler broke into their home with a gun, and they took that gun from him and pointed it right back. Tyler faces a preliminary charge of burglary. OPEC Plus countries, which includes Saudi Arabia, plan to cut oil production by 2 million barrels a day, a decision Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the country is reviewing.
We will look at this as we are, methodically and with deliberation, for the purpose of making sure that it is working to advance our interests.
Saudi officials say rising interest rates are the reason for the cuts. Republicans at U.S. oil companies want President Biden to allow more domestic oil production to help lower prices. It's no secret fall and winter in Indiana are prime flu seasons.
So the flu is spread primarily by the droplets that are spread by coughing, sneezing, and then deposit on surfaces.
Dr. Blocker Smith with IU Health, he recommends almost everyone over 6 months old get the flu vaccine. He also encourages you to wash your hands as much as possible. The statewide average for gas today is $3.87 per gallon in Indiana, says Gas Buddy. That's down 6 cents from what you were paying Monday. With traffic at 532, here's Matt Baer.
Harrison, we are still fighting through this crash coming in from Shelbyville and westbound 74. It's between Acton and Post, blocking the right lane. Traffic is backed up to Acton. On the east side, still closed the intersection 30th of Shadeland Avenue because of that shooting investigation. Eastbound 465 stops at Westfield Boulevard to the White River, and on the south side, eastbound 465 stop and go Harding over to Emerson. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, get a $2,000 energy savings credit plus sale prices on energy efficient B Window sidings and doors. No payment or interest for up to 24 months. That's Faber's B Window. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies and chilly temperatures are ahead for our Thursday night with lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. Friday, fantastic end of work week with lots of sunshine, highs in the low to mid 60s. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, "I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!"
And now, Hammer and Nigel go off the rails with Rob Kendall on 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. Here to go off the rails. Rob, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks as always to our segment sponsor, Garage Doors of Indianapolis.
Obviously, the biggest story in the nation this week was the Fetterman-Oz debate, the Pennsylvania Senate race. Fetterman obviously not well. I think it says a lot about the Democratic Party, what they think of their voters, what they think of Fetterman. I thought it was pretty disgusting and hard to watch, being that he is a recent victim of a stroke. They told us he was okay. They said, yeah, no, he's fine. Go ahead out there. But they pushed him out there, and it was totally humiliating and embarrassing. I'm just wondering your overall thoughts of what you witnessed this week.
Well, two things. One, yes, you want to feel bad for the guy the same way you want to feel bad for Biden. But then you got to remember who Fetterman was before his stroke. He's a total socialist leftist lunatic who wants to take away your guns, wants to tax you into oblivion, wants to have the government involved in every facet of your existence.
So he's an Indiana Republican.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Biden, right? You want to feel like, oh, there's this old man who's lost his marbles and they're taking advantage of him. But then you realize, well, this guy is the president. He's signing the papers. He's enacting the laws. He's doing the executive orders. These people do not like you. So while it's okay to feel bad for them because of their state of mental health or mental condition or whatever, you have to remember they have to be defeated because they're trying to come at you.
I'm not going to feel bad for somebody who wants to screw with my health care, who wants to screw with the way this country is protected, and honestly, for somebody that probably hates my guts. So I took a lot of crap for this yesterday because Nigel and I talked about this. I'm done feeling bad. I don't feel bad the least bit. I hope he gets better. I hope he gets the help that he needs. But in terms of trying to be one of the 100 most powerful people in this country, I don't feel the least bit of shame ripping this dude.
Here's the bigger point, though. No matter how bad that was, this race is still going to be close. 48, 47, 49%.
He still leads in some polls.
Exactly. They're going to vote for John Fetterman. And this is the bigger conversation, which is, and you're seeing it here in Indiana because they're running Indiana Republicans to horrific statewide candidates in Todd Young and Diego Morales. And there are still a whole group of people who, no matter what those guys do, are going to vote for them. And if you're going to vote for John Fetterman, the same way as if you're going to vote for Diego Morales, what you're saying is no matter what crap candidate the two old parties throw at me, I'm going to vote for it. And then I'm going to spend the next 4 or 6 years complaining about what a terrible job the crap candidate from the two old parties gave me. It's like people have the ability to, as Fleetwood Mac said, you may never break the chain. You have the ability to break the chain, and people don't do it.
But how much of a fault of that lies with the libertarians, right? Because every time you want to believe in the libertarians, it's like wanting to believe in a Colts quarterback. Every time you're wanting to believe in, all right, this is the guy, he's going to lead us, we're going to make things happen, they go onto a debate stage or they do something stupid.
Well, but individual candidates too. And so Jeff Moore, the libertarian nominee for Secretary of State, and we talked about this before, he is the best candidate the libertarians have ever run for statewide office. He is an A-plus candidate. If you put him if he were the Republican nominee for Secretary of State right now, he would get 60% of the vote. He is the best candidate they have ever nominated. And look, you're not going to go from weirdos to perfect in overnight. The Libertarian Party used what Rainwater did, which was getting, that 11.5% of the vote, and they have added county parties. They've started to fill out ballots. Rome wasn't built in a day. This isn't going to happen overnight, but we have to reward these third parties when they put good people out there to encourage more good people to run.
But I have seen in states, and maybe it's a poor example, like Minnesota, where they said, you know what? I think Jesse Ventura is a bit of a lunatic, but these other two folks stink. So we're going to roll the dice here, and we're going to hitch our wagons to Jesse. Now, he was a well-known wrestler. He had name recognition. I get that. Is that what it's going to take for a libertarian to make a legitimate run at something in Indiana, name recognition?
So here is what is on the ballot. So let's take away the U.S. Senate race, because I know we're going to talk about Todd Young and his gas pumping here in just a minute. But the Secretary of State's race controls the ballot access. And I am telling you right now, there's a whole lot of people who are looking at that Secretary of State's race who would be great candidates to run for future office, who, if the Libertarians get the 10%, he doesn't have to win. I'm not under delusion right now going, Jeff Moore is going to be the next Secretary of State for the state of Indiana. But if he gets 10%, the Libertarians get primary ballot access, which is millions of dollars in free advertising that the Republicans and Democrats get, and it's access to voter information that they previously did not have. If they get that 10% in the Secretary of State's race, which Jeff Moore should easily get. He is a great candidate. He's done a great job. You will start to see much better people because they're going to have millions of dollars in free advertising that the Democrats and Republicans get. But you got to vote for it, man. If you vote for Diego Morales in that Secretary of State's race, you are saying whatever crap the Republicans throw at me, I will eat it for here and forevermore.
But the Libertarians have to put up there somebody that's not a total Melvin, too. The two time, and I admit, I missed the one debate with Maurer, but the last 2 times I've watched the debate, I've seen guys up there looking like that scene in Wayne's World where Wayne walks off the show and Garth has to host it by himself.
Okay, but here's the point. Who are the people that are running? They're people with jobs. They're people with things to do. They're people who have never run for public office before. If the standard is we want Todd Young, well, Todd Young wanted to be in politics from the time he was old enough to tie his shoes and spend his whole life doing it, and for the past 12 years has colossally failed you. What would you rather have? Some guy who has trouble articulating a good message, or a guy who has added $11 trillion to the national debt in 6 years?
There it is. What was it? The photo op. What was he doing at the gas station with the gas pump the other day? Can you describe what I was looking at? You know what I'm talking about here?
You guys remember in the original, or I guess it's the second Terminator, where the Patrick character, the bad guy Terminator, comes to present day and he pops onto the scene and he kind of slowly gets up and is looking around and his muscles are all clenched and he has this stern look on his face. That was that photo of Todd Young. So he's at this gas pump in or near Gary. And he's supposedly getting gas late in the evening, coming home from some event. They've got the price of gas pictured in the background. And the only problem is there's no car in the photo of which he's supposedly pumping gas. And on top of that, his sleeves are too long on his shirt. His hair is kind of disheveled. He's grimacing at the gas pump. He's gripping the gas pump like he's holding onto the side of a cliff for dear life. I mean, it's the most ridiculously staged photo ever. So you can say whatever you want about James Siniak having a bad debate or Rainwater sweating during the debate. I'd rather have a sweater or a guy who had trouble completing a sentence rather than a guy who's added $11 trillion to that and is staging photos at gas pumps without cars.
But the reality is, I mean, as much as you don't like Todd Young and you've made it known for quite some time now, he is going to win this race.
Sure he is. Right? And you know what's going to happen? Because I saw this yesterday on social media. There were a whole bunch of people who in that Abdul poll who are conservatives said, I hate Todd Young. I'm not committed to voting for him. And as always happens, when we get right up to the end of the line, all the bravado, all the tough talk, all the this, all the that, they go kneel at that altar of Republican Party politics and they do a mental pretzel twisting that it amazes me people can do. And they go in there and vote for him. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to spend the next 6 years complaining about all the spending, about all the inflation, about all the butt kissing of Mitch McConnell, about all the siding with the Democrats. You get the government you deserve.
And this is just our weekly reminder that Jim Banks is going to absolutely beat the hell out of this loser, Gary Snyder, in his race. It's going to probably be the biggest blowout in the state of Indiana, maybe in the country. And I like to remind people of this because Gary Snyder is one of those trolls that goes on social media and, he's ripped IBC before. He has this stupid little minions, these 23-year-old worms that have just gotten out of college that haven't accomplished a damn thing, and he's going to have his ass completely handed to him on a silver platter by Jim Banks.
Yes, I would say Banks district is probably safe Republican.
Rob, what's the most important race in Indiana?
Well, I would say it's the school boards. Because, I mean, you think about the awakening, and you guys have kids who are educated from home, and, I'm sure you kind of knew what was going on, but parents all across this state were awakened, and there's some really good conservatives running in Fishers, running in Carmel, running in Brownsburg. A little plug here for Dave Tinkey and Tiffany Dearman running for Brownsburg School Board if you live in Brownsburg. And we had a guest on today from Avon, Shauna Lake, who is that poor woman who is a great citizen, a patriot, happened to be in Washington, D.C. on January 6th, wasn't anywhere near the Capitol, wasn't in the Capitol, wasn't hanging out with the Viking guy. She was 4 football fields away from the Capitol. And yet IndyStar runs this hit piece where they lead people to believe like she was storming, the Bastille. They're out for these conservatives because they recognize that that people are now aware, even though these races are air quote nonpartisan, that there are a bunch of leftist lunatics that run these suburban school districts.
Kiefer Hart, such in Zionsville as well. I'm wondering if you think, though, do they not do this in every state? I mean, there's no R or D besides the people that are running for school boards in this state. Do they do that in other states?
I think every state's probably different. I think a lot of them do have partisan labels. Look, school board is the most partisan thing we have. Think about this. Surveyor, partisan. Coroner, partisan. Clerk, partisan. Every other election in this state is partisan except for school board. And this is where it gets me, because I went to an event in Hamilton County the other night, the Hamilton County GOP Fall Dinner. And Todd Houston, one of the Flanders boys, old Rod and Todd, Speaker of the House, gets up there and is talking about, we got to win these school board races, and they're more important than this and that. The Republican Party in Indiana, because they are petrified of the teachers union, the Indiana General Assembly, refuses to make these partisan races. They know what they're facilitating. They know what they're doing. This disingenuous, babbling bullcrap from people like Todd Houston. We must win these school board races. We must get these Democrats out of there. You're enabling it to happen. So people better wake up and be very aware of who these school board candidates are.
Can you stick around for one more segment?
Sure.
We're going off the rails with Rob Kendall. We'll be right back. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
It's a new day because COVID vaccines just got a big update. So all the big stuff coming up this fall? Well, now you can say, you bet I'll be there. Because updated COVID vaccines protect against both the original COVID virus and Omicron. And everyone 5 and older can get one. So this is a moment we've all been waiting for.
Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Ryan again, owner of Plumbing, Heating, Paramedics, your trained comfort specialist. Buying a new air conditioner or furnace is a big decision and can be pricey. That's why we recommend getting 3 quotes. Just make sure we are one of them. Why? Because the PHP guarantee says, if I can't beat a competitor's price by 10%, then I will give you $100. Dad always said, do quality work and serve every customer better than your competition. So let our family serve you. Visit saving10%.com and remember, it's hard to stop a train.
Hey, what's going on? This is Hammer Nigel. If you're looking for a local John Deere dealer in Central Indy to serve your commercial construction equipment needs, a team of Koenig says, turn to us. Their full line of John Deere skid steers, track loaders, front loaders, and mini excavators. You combine that with their team of product experts and certified service techs. That makes Koenig your premier John Deere dealer.
Stop by one of their 6 convenient Indiana locations today or visit KoenigEquipment.com. That's Koenig, KoenigEquipment.com. Stop by. Be sure to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Get ready to vote, Indy, especially if you're planning to vote absentee in this year's midterm election. The deadline to request a ballot to vote by mail is October 27th. See if you qualify, request your ballot, and learn more about this safe and easy process at vote.indy.gov. While you're there, explore your options for early and in-person voting on or before November 8th. Make your plan to vote, Indy, at vote.indy.gov. Message paid for by the Marion County Election Board.
We all want our families to be safe. However, violent crime has been on the rise in the city of Indianapolis. In 2021, Indianapolis saw a record number of homicides, and 762 people were shot during the record violence last year. How could this happen? Far-left Democrats creating poor public safety policies like reducing bail requirements and allowing violent criminals to go free. We need leaders who will stand up for us. We need Donna Shibley for state representative. Donna Shibley will close the loophole on bail requirements, and Donna will always support our brave men and women in law enforcement. That's why Donna Shibley is endorsed by the Indiana State Police Alliance, the Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, and our first responders with the Indiana Professional Firefighters PAC. Let's vote for a leader who will keep our communities safe. Let's vote Donna Shibley for state representative on or before Tuesday, November 8th.
Paid for by Donna Shibley for state representative.
B has more than white windows. B offers total design choices.
B lets you virtually design colors to match the character of your home.
Trust me.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
All right, we're looking at the east side. Southbound 465, stop and go 70 down to 74 to crash. Westbound 74 between Acton and Post. And that's going to be the right lane blocked backed up to Acton Road. Northwest side, northbound 465 slows. 86th Street up to 865. Traffic sponsored by B Window. Right now, get a $2,000 energy savings credit plus sale prices on energy efficient B Window sidings and doors. No payment or interest for up to 24 months. That's Faber's B Window. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
56 right now at the American Standard Heating Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here, going off the rails with Rob Kendall. National polling looks pretty good for the midterms for Republicans, doesn't it? I mean, when you look, especially like the Real Clear Politics polls, Rob, how are you feeling nationwide in terms of the success that the Republicans have the potential to win?
Well, they're absolutely going to take the House. I mean, ESPN has those game trackers where the probability the team's going to win the football game based on what's happening, it's probably like 98% they're going to win the House. They're going to win the House. That's not the question. The question is the Senate. And I would imagine after that Fetterman debate the other night, the vote counters in Philadelphia, it's like they're training for a big sporting event. They're getting ready. They're prepared. It's like a Rocky montage, No Easy Way Out is playing in the background. They're lifting weights, getting their ballot canning hands ready. And I bet they went into overdrive after that the other night. The problem with the Senate races that doesn't happen in the House races is most congressional districts don't touch a large city. Like all of Indiana's House races, other than Marion County, which is Andre Carson, don't touch Marion County. So it makes it much harder to creatively count the jelly beans at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Right, the pallets full of ballots that arrive.
Unlike a statewide race, which is U.S. Senate, in which in Philadelphia, there could be more people vote than live in Philadelphia, and that wouldn't surprise me at all.
So let's just, for argument's sake here, humor me. Let's say things are all on the up and up, and it's going to be a fair count. I do believe Oz has a great shot of winning Pennsylvania. We've debated about Georgia because it feels like this Warnock character, despite being a radical lunatic, all the momentum is still with him.
All right, so here's what's going to happen in Georgia. And you remember when you guys had that weekend show here years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Somebody came on that show, and everybody else in this station was saying, Trump has no chance, and all the big timers, oh, Hillary's going to win. What a terrible nominee. One little unknown peasant came on the Hammer and Nigel weekend show and told you Trump was going to win. The same reason Trump won is why Herschel Walker's going to win, and it is people who love Georgia football, who remember Herschel Walker running over people, who the pollsters are not going to be able to find, just like they couldn't find him with Trump because they don't normally vote. They're going to show up. Mock's husband is a great example. He's political. He's into politics. But if Mock's husband were non-political, who do you think he'd be voting for?
The Heisman Trophy winner for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Now, I'm not saying it's not going to be close. I'm not going to say that, there may not be a runoff, which there may be because if neither one gets 50%. But there's no way Herschel Walker's losing in Georgia.
And I think the Republicans have a really good chance to steal that in Nevada, too.
Yeah. I think it'll be 52-48. If you're saying indeed if it was a fair election, not to say, because I know we're on YouTube, it's not going to be a fair election. But if it were a fair election, 52-48.
We have got a night with WIBC tonight, Rob. You're going to be there. We're going to be there. And thank you for going off the rails.
Thank you.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Meet Carrie Forstall, Marion County Sheriff.